As the championship enters the home straight, the World RX Elite will need maximum focus and quick hands to dance the cars to the Rumba Catalana rhythm and triumph in one of the most vibrant cities in the world. The FIA World Rallycross Championship has arrived in Barcelona for round 10 of the 2015 season. Rallycross last visited Spain back in the 1980s, but this is a fantastic new venue for World RX, and the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya will see the championship race on a current F1 track for the first time. Last round saw Timmy Hansen take his second win in a row, crossing the line first in his Peugeot to the delight of the partisan French fans. It marks a fantastic run of form for Team Peugeot Hansen, taking 4 wins in the last 5 races. Despite all the amazing stats you can look at regarding the Hansen team, one fact is very clear. Petter Solberg is still top of the championship and the clock is ticking in the race to the title.
I think to win the championship you need the consistency that we have been doing over many races, except for a couple or 3 now in the middle before Loyac, that we have been a little bit in a bad situation, to be honest with you. Changed a little bit strategy after that with how I drive, so I drive a little bit more aggressive straight away, so they can't touch me or push me when I'm in front, and then do my job. I would like to have a win now again soon.
For the man in second place, tactics may need to change if he is to make a title challenge.
If we want to score 30 points every time, we have to be really aggressive on our tactics. And we have to play everything perfect through the heats, because that's really where the biggest challenge is, I think, when the competitors start to put new tires on and perhaps we need to save. So it's going to be an interesting race, and we're going to see if our tactic can play off. It is a long way, 4 starts, 4 heats, and it's rallycross, everything happens.
In France, Timmy only managed to reduce the gap by 4 points to Petter, who finished second and tops the table by 37 points. Peugeot Hansen are leading the team's championship, and with back-to-back victories there is now clear daylight between them and the chasing pack. RX Lights return to the championship for round 6 of their season, and it's a battle between Kevin Hansen and Kevin Eriksson for the title. This weekend there is a new face in the lights, Spanish driver Laia Sanz competing on home soil. She is a spectacularly successful motorcycle racer, won the Women's Trials World Championship 13 times and has 3 class victories in the Dakar Rally to her name.
I'm very happy to be here. It's a new experience for me. I'm a bit afraid also, because it's really different from what I tried before. Especially I'm afraid of the contact, but I decided to come because it's close to home. And it's a really nice thing, and always I have a chance to try new things. I love it.
Spain is the penultimate round for the FIA European Rallycross Championship for Supercars. Tommy Rustad has been in great form all year, taking victories in Germany and Norway. He leads the series by 13 points over Belgium winner Jérôme Grosset-Janin, and a solid performance here will put him in the perfect position to take the title in Italy.
Pushing hard, do my best, have focus on myself to be faster and better and to improve. And then if I do the job right, I know that's good enough to win. So I need to stay out of trouble, of course, but I need to push hard and work forwards, not look backwards.
Coming up, we've got highlights of the action from Heats 1 and 2. We have the best of the action from Heat 3. In Heat 4, we find out who will make the semi-finals. We've got the Supercar semi-finals live, the live RX Lights final, and the World RX Supercar final live. Here's the track preview presented by Ion Cameras. The Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, home to F1 and MotoGP, and now to the World Rallycross Championship, a brand new rallycross track, 60% asphalt and 40% dirt. We ride with Timo Scheider. He exits the last corner, that's the finish line on the right, and then into turn 1. A long sweeping left-hander with a tarmac straight over a crest, down into the braking zone for turn 2. It's a long left-hander on tarmac, will be hard on the tyres. Into the sunlight and the dust, onto the dry gravel section. It's a tight right and a tight left, and then a steep downhill gravel straight. braking for a hairpin left. Sets the car up, uses the handbrake, flicks in and around the tyres, and then pulling gears back up the hill onto tarmac. It's a fast left and a right, and then braking on gravel into a tight right-hander. Again, dust here. Tanner Faust off on the left. This was in the warm-up session. Yellow flag slowing Scheider. He goes through the dip, over the jump, and then it's immediately into a right-hander, back onto tarmac, and a long left-hander the last corner, with the Joker lap going around the outside. The draw for Heat 1 favoured the current informed team. Both Peugeot Hansen cars would start together in a three-car race. Genet finally got ahead at turn 2, but Hansen Joker and put the hammer down to take the win and set a very high benchmark for everyone else. The last corner Joker at Barcelona proved its worth early on with an incredibly tight finish between Nittisch and Larsen, just going Larsen's way. Portugal winner Johan Kristoffersen put in a great performance in his heat race to knock Genet out of second place in Heat 1, but still not quite as fast as Hansen. Matthias Ekström went well to win his heat race, but equally impressive just behind him was Fredrik Souston, this year's touring car category champion on his first competitive outing in a supercar. Baccarat's fan club were pleased to see the Norwegian take a comfortable win in his race, while Timmers Jarnov and Henning Solberg made the job much more difficult for each other in theirs. Timmer ran wide and Henning took the lead, but was later penalised for crossing track limits earlier in the race. Petter Solberg was a casualty of the tricky uphill start, and he dropped to 4th during lap 1 as a result. He managed to get past Dubourg with a great move on lap 2. Meanwhile, Liam Doran had been flying out front, but Ramona Karlsson and RX debutant Timo Scheider had retired at the hairpin, and Liam clipped Scheider's Audi, handing the lead to his teammate Solberg, but he couldn't beat Timmy's time either. Tanner Faust made up for a retirement in the first heat with an early win in Heat 2, but Liam Doran wasn't so lucky in his run. Mark Flaherty made a mistake in the dust, and while he was okay, his stranded car would cost Doran several seconds when the British bomb had looked strong for a good time. The last corner Joker lap provided another close finish. Podium finisher in France, JB Dubourg, was bottled up behind OC Baby. When Baby jokered on the final lap, Dubourg picked him at the line. Danielson made a misjudgment over the jump which saw his Heat 2 run end in retirement, and that left Tord Linnerud out front to take an easy win. Timo Timosjanov was involved in another battle in Heat 2, this time with Topi Heikkinen. Topi managed to pass Timmer in the Joker, but the Russian struck back immediately and made what looked like a brilliant repass in the very next corner. The stewards, however, didn't agree, and Timmer was handed a 5-second penalty for track limits. The world champion Petter Solberg got an incredible start in his race. Cue another masterclass in car control and a time which topped the tables with just one dramatic race to come. Timmy Hansen got through turn 1 first, with his teammate Genet having to take avoiding action behind him and pushing Baccarat wide. Baccarat dived up the inside in turn 2, and this time it was Genet who suffered the consequences. Hansen destroyed his Heat 1 time and Petter's Heat 2 time. He was handed a 5-second penalty for cutting the first corner. Despite that penalty, Hansen is the overnight leader for the 5th event in a row.
Again, it's really good in day 1. The car is really easy to drive, and it feels so natural whatever I do. So I'm really one with the Peugeot, and we're able to go flat out, and when I cross the line and I hear my times, even I'm surprised myself.
Timmy Hansen is top of the overnight standings again. This time it's fellow Swede Matthias Ekström in 2nd, Solberg 3rd, and another Swede Kristoffersen in 4th. Just inside at the minute, Timosjanov and Markland, with Faust and Henning Solberg just missing the cut.
Well, this is the lovely paddock of the Circuit de Catalunya, and we find ourselves at the All Inkle garage. Let's have a word with the 2 drivers here this weekend, one of whom, of course, is Timo Scheider. Timo, sorry to interrupt. It's a great pleasure to see you here in Catalunya. First of all, how does it feel to drive a rallycross car compared to DTM?
Well, it's amazing. So the first moment when I was in the car, it was just like stressful everywhere. But right now I'm coming into the rhythm, and yeah, doing the heats now and pre-practice and stuff. This is for sure different kind of driving style, but it's nice. I'm enjoying it quite a lot.
And talk us through heats 1 and 2, because you certainly showed pace, but it didn't all go according to plan. Talk us through it.
Well, he won. I had a proper start. I came up to P2. All was fine for the first 2 laps, but then into the hairpin, the throttle cable just broke. So I had no response from that anymore. So that was gone then. And Heat 2 was pretty cool, I have to say. Nice start behind Tanner Faust and finished P2. And yeah, luckily we made this one, but Heat 3 and 4 will be tough.
But you're sort of on the bubble. You have a potential to make the semi-final. What do you think you have to do to make the semi?
Well, with 0 points from Heat 1, it is maximum risk now for Heat 3 and 4. So I just try to give my very best, and in the end of the day, I have to enjoy that, because this is one-off. We will see if there's some more coming, but for sure I'm enjoying this, and yeah, let's see what's going on.
Well, good luck in the rest of it.
You.
Thanks, good to see you. Now let's go down the back and see our regular driver, Alex Danielsson. There he is. Looking at onboards by the looks of it. Alex, sorry to interrupt your hard work. In fact, interestingly, you seem to be comparing onboards between you and Timo. First of all, how was your day, Heats 1 and 2?
Well, I guess Heat 1 was okay. We didn't get in any big troubles, and we had an okay launch, but speed on the gravel was too low. So the second heat, we made some changes. We had a great launch, and the speed seemed to be better, but only got half a lap in before I had a big incident.
We saw you go off the track. You narrowly avoided hitting the barrier hard. How can you come back from that in Heats 3 and 4?
Magic question. I'll tell you tomorrow.
And talk a little bit about Timo. How has he adapted to this new kind of driving for him?
Timo is one of the best drivers out there, especially in the DTM series, which also Matthias comes from. And you know, drivers in DTM that do well here. So he's been great. We've been working together, and like you say, right now we're just comparing some onboards between me and Timo, and it's very helpful, I think.
Okay, we'll leave you to it. Thanks a lot. Cheers, Alex.
See you later.
Hello, my name's Andrew Coley. Alongside me in the commentary box this weekend is British Touring Car Championship driver Andrew Jordan, who of course has driven in the World Rallycross Championship as well. And reporting from the paddock, as always, is Neil Cole. On to the early heat races in Heat 3. Jerome Grosset-Janin and Alex Danielsson leading away from the start line. Danielsson running wide, with Grosset-Janin out front. And the Frenchman, who's a Euro RX front runner, set a fantastic time. Team Austria's Manfred Stoll made it into turn 1 first. He wouldn't be bettered for the entire race. His teammate Max Pusher led the next heat race, but right behind him was Fredrik Sauston at the back. Hedstrom and Walfridsson tangled. Walfridsson climbing the tyre bale. In fact, he broke the car later in the race. Sauston, meanwhile, the current European Touring Car champion, was flying out front. Did a great job. Ollie O'Donovan got the best start in his heat race. He was clearly in front, but Davy Genet wasn't having it. Down to turn 2, went around the outside. He looked like he'd have to give second best, but darted up the inside on the brakes into turn 3. From then on, took an easy win. Robin Larsson on the inside managed to avoid contact for the rest of the field in his heat race. Karai, as a result of that span. Timosyanov came all the way around the outside. It was Larsson who led on the first lap. Markland over the contact as Timosyanov went up the inside of him. And unfortunately for him, Henning Solberg managed to squeeze past 2. Looked like Markland could go up the inside, but Solberg threw the beetle across the front. Larsson took the flag. The British bomb Liam Doran got a great start in his heat race, while behind him Vibey and Scheider battled it out down towards turn 3. Scheider going sideways, Vibey getting the nod on that one. Liam flying over the jump and setting a decent time. The fast guys are coming. Here we go. Heat 3, race 8. On the inside, Timmy Hansen, overnight leader. Toppy Heikkinen next to him. Tommy Rustad, leader of the European Rallycross Championship for Supercars. Bakkerud, and then Linnerud. On board with Timmy, getting himself all fired up. The standard shout, and then straight away calm again. Marshall in the middle of the screen. Gives it the thumbs up. He's on board with Toppy. Toppy pulls the handbrake back. Look at him frowning at the lights. It's a really even start, but on the outside, Linnerud's got an absolute rocket from P5. Linnerud turns it across the whole lot. Bit of contact there with Rustad. Rustad drops back into 5th place. place, but what a start from Linnerud.
Awesome start from the outside, wasn't it? And all the reactions look pretty similar, but it just drove off, no wheel spin, didn't bog, just drove off, perfect traction, perfect start. And now Timmy, obviously, he's in a very good position, very tricky position. It's going to be down to when they joker, I think, because he doesn't want to get held up behind Linnerud. A little bit of contact on board with Toppy there. He's got a good drive out, he's up the inside, but that's going to be the outside for the next corner.
Hansen holds on, Toppy drops back into third, but Hansen will know he's there. So is this an occasion where maybe Timmy's struggling there for traction on the exit? Would you now joker Timmy to get him away from Toppy, maybe keep him safe?
It's not necessarily as simple as that, because it depends. Yeah, so what they didn't want to do is drop him out straight behind someone else, because you're in the same position you're in now. So as it is, Linnerud's got a bit of gap. He can keep Timmy in some reasonably clean air. He get his head down, go as quick as he can, and then hopefully Kenneth will be up there. He does a lot of split time, so he'll be timing at different points around the circuit to see if he's got enough to come out in clear air.
Linnerud leading, using all the curb and a little bit of the run-off on the inside. The curbs here are lovely and low, of course, because they're for F1 and MotoGP. So to a rallycross car, that's like, yeah, thanks for the extra track. There's Linnerud's spotter. He's looking at the timing screen, I think, at the back of the spotters tower, the Iron spotters tower. Top three have all got to joker. Heikkinen has gone. How far back is Heikkinen from Bakkerud? Here we go. Oh, on board with Bakkerud, over the jump. The dust not too bad there. Down a gear, keeps it tidy.
And Timmy to the joker, and Bakkerud follows him. As you say, Timmy just looks like he's struggling a little bit for traction off the corners. He's going to come out, he's going to be very close, but has he got increased speed round outside? Yes, we see it again, he has. So they've worked it perfectly there. Bakkerud are lucky to come out behind both of them, both the VWs, but Timmy just looks like he's struggling a bit for traction. Now, is that the tyre strategy?
That's what I was going to say. So, of course, we know that recently Timmy's been using the same set of tyres all through quali and then ended up TQ anyway, so and can save a brand new set for the semis, but is it not going to work here? I mean, we know that the grip differential between the tar and the dirt is massive here.
And the tyres are really getting a hard time here. There's three long, fast, hard-loaded tarmac corners. The tarmac's very abrasive, very coarse tarmac, so it's hurting the tyres. Yes, they'll be swapping them round on the car. Linnerud goes, so this will cover off Hansen, I think. They'll do it for safety because they know Timmy's very quick. They want to come out in track position. He's going to come out clearly in front.
Great job by Linnerud. We know now he's carrying... Oh, Linnerud with a problem. Linnerud with a problem suddenly slows on the exit. So Linnerud was in the lead, clearly in the lead, and then just suddenly goes backwards. Now he's away again.
He's not going again, so whether it's a gearbox problem or a missed gear or something like that.
Oh, shake
real
the head
shame,
because
he's been very quick. His best lap was a very quick time, so you'd guess it's a missed gear, or it's hard to miss gears on a sequential, whether it's just wrongly selected and got stuck in a false neutral, because he seems to be going again at reasonable, full pace is going again.
He had so much pace through that first corner, and then just suddenly, in fact, he was lucky, Andrew, not to get hit from behind, because none of the drivers would expect him to suddenly lift mid-corner.
Quite a bit of damage there on the front of Timmy's. I would think at the left-hand hairpin he's just clipped the tyres. Doesn't look like he's done any suspension damage, but obviously just a little bit too close, and a win for Timmy. We're going to see what the time's like. Very close heat race there.
Everybody in together. Linnerud, in fact, not losing too much time, but he'll be disappointed. Right, the fans are pleased. We've got big fan clubs here for Rustad and for Bakkerud. Timmy Hansen, though, taking the win. Heikkinen second, Rustad, Bakkerud, and then Linnerud at the back. Where does Hansen go? Hansen goes into third. You can't help thinking there that Linnerud might have been on to go to the top of the heat. Shame for him. So Linnerud away from the outside. Look at this. He's absolutely clear, Andrew. He can just pick his line. Contact behind him.
So that kind of held the other guys up, but that was all about the start there. This is Timmy. Look, a fair bit of understeer, having to wait. Heikkinen behind looks quicker. Is there any contact here? Not quite. You can see, look, all over the grass there, trying to keep it as tight as possible to help the setup then for the right-hander. The car's over the jump. Big air there. Rustad coming through, leading European rallycross driver at the minute. Absorbs it very nicely. This is Linnerud. Look, he comes out in front. You can see.
We're hearing.
No,
we think
it's
the finish.
Flag.
Yeah, we think that's just what I've heard from race control.
You can see he hits the brakes there, so no car issue. He thought it was the checkered flag.
Disaster for Linnerud.
Kenneth, we know the car's good and we know Timmy's quick, but it just goes to show you just keep pushing till the end because anything can happen.
Absolutely, you know, even if you have a fast car and fast driver, everything can happen, as you say. And he was not really into it today. I don't know why, perhaps something with the car or so, but we hope we can fix it and make it for the third heat. Perhaps just a small balancing issue, but we are quite satisfied. It's third time at the moment.
So a few issues then for Hansen to sort if he's going to be quick in heat 4. Can he beat that man, the World Championship leader Petter Solberg, on the grid for the next race already? Heat 3, race 9. On the inside, the world champion Petter Solberg. Matthias Ekström next to him. Reinis Nittisch in the middle. Tanner Faust, and then Johan Kristoffersson. Everybody will be keen to get this dead right. Look at Ekström, he's not blinking already. Hand in the middle of the wheel, holding in one of the buttons, making sure the start procedure is good to go. Everybody's on used tyres. Nittisch ready to go as well. Has a little look across to see who's alongside him. It'll be all action up towards turn 1. Solberg creeping up towards the line. Did he roll back there, Andrew?
He rolled back and they were bringing him right up to the beam. So whether he did that on purpose just to allow a little bit of room for creeping, you can see, look, hear the car's RPM there, really high RPM.
Maybe he was going to try and guess the lights. Either way, he gets the worst start out of the lot. Nittisch looks like he's going to get to turn 1 first. Oh, Nittisch supposed to come across on Ekström. Solberg up the inside, they all lose out. Tanner Faust goes into the lead. Solberg's going to end up in 4th down into turn 2. Well,
again, we see it from the outside. It opens up that turn 1 so much. The 3 inside guys were really battling for track position there. Held them all up a little bit. Nittisch was lucky he didn't get turned round because it was quite heavy contact. Ekström was in the middle. I think Nittisch was coming over a bit. Solberg was coming over a little bit. Lucky he didn't end up in a shot there.
Now, Solberg yesterday, Heat 1 got a bad start, ended up down in 4th. Heat 2, he was actually beaten by Hansen by 2 seconds, I think it was.
2.3 to be precise.
There you go, Andrew Jordan. Absolutely massive. But then Timmy handed a 5-second penalty for cutting turn 1 to avoid contact. OK, the penalty stands, but that's why Petter is on pole effectively for this heat. Ekström into the Joker. Nittisch goes with him. Solberg smoking the tyres up in 3rd place, and out front, Faust still leading.
I think Solberg's actually got some bodywork rubbing. I think out the commentary box, you can see from that contact, looks like it's rubbing on the tyre, so whether that's putting a cut in or not. But Faust, we saw yesterday, looked very smooth, neat and tidy, very effective, they're very quick yesterday.
Yesterday, in the first practice run, Faust completely unfussed. He looked like he was, you know when you have a cruise around wrecking a circuit, and yet the time was immediately there, and then unfortunately on his very next run, got caught in the dust in this turn. He said when the dust settled, boom, he was in the wall, broke the car. That's Matthias Ekström spotted on the left. Faust over the jump with Kristoffersson going with him.
Kristoffersson's got great pace. You can see they've done that so he can try and get the undercut.
Solberg changed his mind. Solberg changed his mind there at the very last second. Why did he do that? Solberg's going to end up dropping back down. Nittisch is going to come out alongside him. Solberg carries the pace. He's going to chase Ekström down that straight. But Solberg looked like he was going for the last corner and then changed his mind. Was it because he saw Kristoffersson go?
We've seen quite a few people go on, you know, normally when they're out in the lead, they'll go for lap 4. But we've seen quite a few people do it on lap 3 for some reason. But Solberg's come out in traffic now behind Ekström. At least with these guys, you know it's going to be a pretty quick heat time. You don't want to battle too much. But Kristoffersson, I was going to say, he's back on form this weekend. He's been very, very quick. He's been a bit unlucky at some of the last events. We know how quick he is. We know how quick that car is. So he's going to be one to watch as this event goes on.
Faust then, the only driver not to Joker. Is he going to go now? He does. So Faust goes now. They've got another lap to go. Kristoffersson is on the inside. Faust is going to carry a lot of pace out the Joker. Will it be enough for him to then try and get the undercut on the brakes down at turn 2? We've not seen this before. Great run. Faust going to try and get around the outside. Kristoffersson goes defensive on the inside. Faust chucks it in. He's right behind him, fastest lap of the day, Johan Kristoffersson, and that is how he managed to get Faust behind him.
He did it exactly the right time, didn't he? They got him out of Tanner Faust, got him into clear air, so then he pushed like mad. Fastest lap of the weekend so far. And they'll have been in his ear, I'm sure, telling him it was going to be closer. He knew to cover Tanner Faust off with that good run off the Joker lap through turn 1.
Lovely stuff there from Kristoffersson's on board, facing backwards towards Tanner Faust. Faust right with him. He won't do anything silly now. They just want to get a decent time over the jump. Kristoffersson followed by Tanner. Of course, Tanner got a podium in Canada. Last time he was with us in the World Rallycross Championship. Oh, Solberg's had a spin just off the jump. We saw it from the commentary tradition. Solberg's just had a problem. Kristoffersson comes across the line in first with Faust. Petter Solberg on board with him now. The reason he's so far back, Andrew Jordan spotted it, pointed out the window. Andrew, what have you seen?
I think he's got a car problem. Whether that was a cause or effect of the accident over the jump. Looks like a left front punch and right rear. So we don't know whether that's caused or whether that was just over jumping and hitting the wall. But it looks very...
Yeah.
It's not all going his way this weekend, is it?
This is the things that make you nervous. Kristoffersson leading from Tanner Faust in that one. Ekström 3rd, Nittisch 4th. Solberg lucky to make the finish. Broken suspension on the last lap. And Kristoffersson and Faust finally demote Jerome Grosjean from the top. Grosjean that is a fantastic time, and that's going to help him in his European Championship.
Look on the inside here. Nittisch very sideways. I don't know if that bent Solberg's suspension there, because it was a fairly heavy hit. But
Looking over the jump, we're watching for it.
No, it's his right rear, isn't it? It's all right at the minute.
We did see tyre smoke as well, Andrew. You said about the bodywork rubbing. Maybe the left tyre has gone down and the suspension's broken, because it looked like a puncture as well as broken suspension. But here's Faust. I don't know whether or not we're going to see anything from Solberg on that jump. We were looking at the leaders as they came over the line.
Here, look, he knows Faust is coming. He knows he's got to run, but this is on board. This is going to be it, I think. This is the last lap. He clipped the wall. He clipped the left front wall
Both
and then
sides.
the right wall.
Wow, problems for Solberg.
Not just a race win, but an incredible time. What's going on with Johan in the car?
No, we're doing step by step, try to develop the car step by step, and also he did very good driving in this round, so we are so happy with that. Start position was not the best, but he handled it very, very well, and we sorted out the car step by step, so now finally we are back where we are from the start, when it was very fast in the beginning of the season. Now we slightly go back to that point again, and it's so great.
Thank you, well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Rapid drive from Johan Kristoffersson. Where's that going to put him overall? There you go, Johan Kristoffersson taking heat 3, and that puts him at the top of the standings. Timmy Hansen second, Ekström third, Larsen fourth. It's a Swedish top 4. It's Nitish Bakker, Janae Heikkinen. Solberg down in 9th, Timosjanov, Linnerud and Faust at the minute. Doran is just outside. Down to the rear of the grid, Timo Scheider not having it all his own way this weekend. There we go. Can't win them all. Well, a brand new rallycross track here at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, and this is a great way to have a look at what the drivers faced. Tanner Faust picking up a rear wheel there, Andrew Jordan.
It's so interesting to see on the slow motion that just the difference in driving style, but also in car setup style. You can see the front of that looked quite soft. It was picking up the inside wheel, but just look, this is actually quite rough gravel, and the car's just soaking it up. Look at the wheel moving in the wheel arch. That's what you want. You don't want it upsetting the body and the chassis. You want the wheels just to move and absorb it. That obviously then helps traction and makes it a little bit easy to drive. And you'll see it just goes into a bit of oversteer there. And look at this lovely smooth F1 curve for Davy Genet, but the car just rides it up. It eats the curb up, no problem at all. Very soft on the rear, and then look at the front dive, and it is hard on the brakes. We'll be banging it down the gears, and then it goes into the tight right there.
He doesn't pick up a rear wheel here, so different settings on this car.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, there's so many things you can change on that. Look, you can see the rear wheel just lifting a tiny bit off the curb, but nowhere near as much as Tanner Faust was. So that would be just some different settings, probably on the front end of the car, actually, which then doesn't let the car roll over as much as Tanner's was.
Genet turning into the left-hander. This is quite a tight left, and we've seen really low grip levels on the gravel and really high grip levels on the tar, and that's because, of course, this circuit's used for F1 and MotoGP as well.
Absolutely, so there's even more of a compromise to try and pick up as much grip as you can on the tarmac. Look, just a lovely four-wheel drift. Watch the front wheels, they're pretty much straight, so that's driving the car forward as much as possible. You don't want lots and lots of opposite light. You can see there, he just has to flick it straight to get the drive off onto the gravel.
Matthias
Ekström, look, coming in, he sets the car up. You can see this is a really long right-hander. Very, you know, there's more grip on the inside. You don't want to let the car run off that. You can see how the gravel's cleaned up there, but just look, you can see his steering wheel's actually not far off straight, so he's got the car set up a long way before the corner, so then he can just drift the whole car through the corner and get the drive off rather than a big opposite lot.
This corner here, absolutely crucial as well. We've seen if they run even just the slightest bit wide, it completely kills their pace into the jump which follows.
Absolutely, I think this is probably the toughest corner on the circuit to carry the speed in, but you can see now with the Citroen DS3 here, he hasn't quite got it as good as Matthias Ekström, because he's had to wind the lock on, back out, back on again. He hasn't quite got it flown as much as Ekström did there.
Jouet, one of the French drivers here in the World Championship. This is Ramona Carlson. Now, Ramona, Andrew, here has had to go sideways a lot earlier, and that's because she's made a little mistake on entry.
Yeah, probably just carried a little bit too much speed in, then the rear of the car's come round, but controlling it really nice. It looks great fun. Probably not the quickest way, but again, you can see the front wheels are straight, a little bit too far. If you look where the rear of the car is, that's going to be dragging you further into the dirt. Again, look at the front wheels, had to then correct, put a bit of steering input into it, and that's just going to hurt the drive off the corner and the approach to the jump.
Heat 4, the final heat. This was the action from the early races. Lucas Walfridsson was left pretty much on his own after JB de Borg retired. Took an easy win. The next race was all about Petter Solberg. He got away from the line so quickly. He was miles in front of everyone and set a fantastic time. Max Pusher got a fantastic start in his heat race, but unfortunately ran wide. It looked like he might hang on to it, but James Grint had nowhere to go. He collected the Austrian driver. Ollie O'Donovan was leading, but ran wide. Later had a problem with the car. That let Fabien Paillet through at this point. Come the end of the race, it was his brother Jonathan who took the flag. There was a fair bit of contact at the start of the next heat race. At the back, Anton Markland managed to go from towards the front in the first corner to almost at the back by turn 3. Alexander Wahl coming off even worse. Henning Solberg was flying in the Beetle, but Timo Scheider, the DTM champion, was giving him some close attention. Down at the hairpin the first nudge, and then a very clever move up on the slippery gravel. Scheider just with a tiny nudge runs Henning wide and slots the Audi up the inside. When it came down to the Jokers though, Henning Solberg came out in front and managed to take the win.
They are already on the grid for the next run of Heat 4. It is race 6. Ola Christian Veiby on the inside, Reinis Nitish, Napik, Linnerud and Rajala. What can Linnerud do here? So Linnerud in the last heat, absolutely massive mistake. His teammate Christopherson won the heat. He was leading his race by a mile. Great start by Nitish, but Linnerud thought the race had finished early. Or contact up into the first corner. I think they've all managed to stay outside track limits. That's Rajala off on the outside.
Heavily into the wall on the outside. That's a concrete wall there. There was all a little bit too much contact there. On board with Nitish, hard on the brakes, down in. He's going to, tug on the handbrake behind Veiby there. And it's going to be interesting with the track limits at turn 1, because Veiby 100% was pushed onto that, over the curb there. And we've seen it's a bit of a touchy subject. There's been a lot of penalties dished out. And that one, absolutely, there was contact, and he could not avoid going over.
He could
absolutely
go.
not.
Well, Reinis Nitish has got 2 new tyres on, and they're on the right side, Andrew.
See that? Yeah, so because there's so many long, loaded, fast tarmac corners, the right side really get Nitish. So Nitish has gone to the Joker, so he gets into clear track. He wants to get into clear track, use that extra grip he's got. That's the right side is where it takes all the hard work, all the loads here. That's where you're going to utilise the fresh rubber. Nitish is actually right up there overall. He's 5th at the minute on the overall classifications, and he's just been there or thereabout, not been stellar, not been super quick.
With a decent weekend. He wasn't very well in France, and he didn't make the semi-finals, which is unusual for him. He did say he's feeling a bit better here, so back on form. Napik boxed down on the exit. Nitish is going to get near him there, surely. Up front, though, it's still Veiby from Napik. Around the tight right-hander. What happened to Rajala? Have we seen Rajala's car since? I'm not sure if he's still going around or not. He did register a time for the first lap, so...
Yes, he is still going round, so it just shows how strong that Saab is. That was a hefty hit. It's going to be really close.
Nitish has got him, but can Veiby carry the extra speed around the outside? On board now with Nitish. Veiby is on his right-hand side, but he's not. Nitish moves across now. Nitish goes defensive on the brakes. A little bit of handbrake on the way in. Veiby is absolutely all over him.
You can see Nitish on the way down there. He didn't drive on the white line, but he made it very obvious. He knew Veiby was there and he had the line covered. The thing is, Nitish is getting held up a bit here by Napik. That's going to hold him up at the hairpin. You can see he loses then the drive off. Veiby really close on his left rear now.
Not going to tap him, hopefully. Scheider getting caught out. Henning Solberg neither scored, didn't he, straight away in the previous race? But, Napik just touched him in that gravel corner. But Nitish looking back at Veiby behind him. So, unfortunately for them, Napik hasn't joked. Napik runs wide, Nitish is going up the inside of him. So I thought Napik might joke there and that would free Nitish off. But Nitish doesn't need Napik to. Lovely job. Finds traction on the exit in the last corner. And now he's put Napik in between him and Veiby.
Yeah, so that's going to help hold Veiby up a little bit. But Nitish won't necessarily be huge. Really sideways there. Yeah, he just covers it off, but he won't be hugely concerned by Veiby because you've got, you're racing a load of other people in overall time. But a little bit of contact, you can see Nitish's bumpers hanging off. He just got underneath Napik and then got the good drive off through turn 1 in clear track. Now, should be pushing like absolute mad because he knows he's being held up. It's going to be very frustrating when you're going for that race time and you're held up behind someone slower.
Over the joke, the Latvian star, with a jump, sorry. Around the left-hander, he's going to take the win here. Bumper hanging off or not. What's the time like? Nitish with a 3:18.9. So Solberg's standard time is 4 seconds quicker. Napik forgot to joker. So Napik in second place forgot to joker. So he will get a 30-second penalty for that. Cardinal sin. There is the very battered Saab of Rajala. Look at that, you wouldn't have thought a car like that would make it to the finish, but that shows you what kind of a car Per Eklund builds. An absolute tank makes it round, but Napic, no joke of that. Dreadful. They're heading back towards holding. And look at the Saab. That is really badly bent. Renistic is taking the win. Baby second, Linnerud, Rajala and Napic. Nitish slots in behind Solberg. He's 4 seconds slower than Solberg, but we know he lost just a little bit of time being held up there by Napic. This is the start.
So let's watch the Saab on the outside. Look, he tries to run. There was contact. There was nothing he could do. Big impact. I'm amazed that car carried on. There's nothing he could do there. On board with Nitish over the jump. It's a dab on the brakes as the car goes light. Huge, huge damage to the Saab there. Credit to Per Eklund, you say what a strong car he builds.
Vibey applying the pressure to Nitish, but Nitish, with that move up the inside of Napic, just gave himself enough breathing room then on the final lap to be able to take it round to the flag. There was Vibey, look behind Napic, taking the bumper off the back of Nitish's car, but acting as a bumper for him, and meaning that Vibey couldn't get near him. Win for Nitish.
Reynes, it's great to see you smiling. A race win like that is exactly what you needed.
Yeah, sure, that was what I need, and I did actually bad third heat, and now I'm back in the business, and I hope I have a first line for the semi-final, and then the race starts, you know. I will push, and thank you very much for Jussi Pinomaki, who is spotting me, and we did a great job through the weekend, and we are finally back, and I hope it will be for last 3 runs as well.
Well done, thank you.
Thank you very much. Valdias Latvia.
Race 7, good to go. The Monster Girls are leaving the grid. Manfred Stoll on the inside, Rustad, Fredrik Sousden, Liam Doran and Andreas Bakkerud. Doran and Bakkerud on the outside here. They were teammates a couple of years ago. That was when Doran's team won the most events that season in the European Rallycross Championship. I think it was 2 to Doran and 2 to Bakkerud. Got to avoid each other up into turn 1 this time. Oh, great start by Stoll on the inside, but also by Bakkerud on the outside. Oh, contact between Liam Doran. Liam Doran gets fired off. Unbelievable. Broken again. It's a disaster for the British bomb. Back at the front. Stoll leading from Bakkerud. Rustad has a look up the inside, but there's no room to go through. And with them, of course, Sousden. So the touring car champion at the back of this train of 4. If he can follow them, it could be in for a good time. And he's really impressed me this weekend.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Liam because, again, it's just one of those things. They were all battling to try and close the gap to get over to the inside of the circuit. It's broken suspension. We didn't quite see then what happened as through turn 1 because when he came back to it, Bakkerud was all over the grass. It looked like he was fully still in the throttle, carrying a lot of speed coming back off the grass.
Manfred Stoll running all new tyres for this one. Bakkerud has gone with the same tactic as Nitish, so the Ford MSE team saying, let's change the right-hand tyres. That's going to leave them with a pair. And Bakkerud, straight out of traffic, wants some air, Andrew.
Absolutely. They've seen with Nitish what the new tyres have given with the extra grip. We know how hard it is on tyres around here, so get Bakkerud, who's been very quick all weekend, very consistent, very quick, get him into some clear air so we can see what pace he's got, and then hopefully if these guys all battle up a little bit, and when they go for the joke, he'll come out clear air.
There's Liam Doran, broken rear suspension again. He pulls off to the side of the road, right underneath our commentary position. We're literally feet above him. So disappointing. So disappointing. Manfred Stoll leading them from Rustad. Rustad, if he was in the World Championship, bearing in mind he's doing Euros this weekend, he would be 6th overall. He was 3rd overall earlier on this year in World Championship qualifying. It's an absolutely brilliant performance from him.
On board with Bakkerud, look over the jump, and then straight away, you see how that sends you straight into that corner. Stoll's gone to the joke, so that will be to cover off Bakkerud. So keep an eye on Stoll as he comes out. He's going to get the speed, he's going to do it.
Stoll with a lot of speed comes off. Look at the dust from the jump section there. The drivers are blind as they come through. Stoll out in front. Rustad will be leading this, but Rustad is the only person who hasn't joking. Really patient on the throttle. They're almost constant throttles with that left-hander.
But it's such a long corner, you don't want to carry too much speed because then obviously it goes into the tight right, so you have to compromise, keep it nice and neat and tidy. Now these guys don't want to battle too much. You know, Bakkerud want Stoll to just keep on that speed, don't defend, don't try and fight too much because they need to get a good, quick heat time.
Such a difficult thing to do, isn't it? As you say, if Stoll defends, he's gone on the defensive line, which means he's going slow. He won't want Bakkerud to come past. You just both you have to trust that Bakkerud's not going to do anything silly, but he will want to pass him if he gets the chance, and there is a chance at the end of the straight here to outbrake, isn't there? Rustad takes the joke out. He's going to carry more speed. Rustad could do this. Dives to the inside. Rustad gets straight past Backward. Lovely job by him. So Rustad slots into second place. Backward's going to have a look up the inside on the brakes at the end of the straight. Stoll still leading. But that's the key to it, Andrew. That's the second time we've seen that now. Come from the outside and go to the inside.
Great move, and I looked up at the commentary box to see track limits, and he was 100% on the normal circuit, so Backward gave him a bit of room there. He knows that you've got someone close and a good few mile an hour quicker. The last thing you want to do for both of your races is just slam the door shut, because it's going to end both of your races with big damage. So pretty sensible driving there from Backward, and very opportunistic from Tommy Rustad.
Rustad
went a little bit wide there.
Yeah, a little bit wide on the exit, but I don't think they're going to be able to get past him. The three of them over the jump, super tight together. Backward won't be able to see much in that dust. Through the last two left-handers, it's Stoll, Rustad and Backward super close together, and Souston goes with them as well. There's Liam Doran. Oh, poor old Liam, just not going his way. Manfred Stoll taking the win, Tommy Rustad second, Backward third, then it's Frederick Souston, and it is a DNF for Liam Doran. Manfred Stoll still just about 4 seconds back from Petter Solberg. Okay, another look at the start. Up the hill, contact again. Look at Souston, and actually there Liam got sandwiched between them, didn't he? And the suspension was broken. It came over.
Unfortunately, just one of those things. It was no one was trying to turn anyone round. It was just a bit of rubbing, and it just hooked up and broke the suspension. So really unfortunate. Yet again, some really bad luck for Liam Doran.
I hope he gets one clear run this season. I really do. It's been 2 torrid years for the Englishman. Stoll and Rustad, we might get to see that merge in a minute. There was Souston and Backward in the dust. Backward, look at that. He cannot see a thing in the dust. Down towards the Joker, that was where he got released. And then Rustad, lovely, manages to slot in between first and third. Fantastic bit of driving by the leader of the European Rallycross Championship.
Manfred, we can see behind you Liam's car being lifted onto the forklift. He was out of the way. A great win for you.
Yeah, it's good win. This was the last race was good, but average this weekend was very disappointing for us. We just did not manage the car in good shape, so we really need to look forward to have a better preparation for Istanbul.
The FIA European Rallycross Championship for Super 1600 cars is here in Spain on their second to last outing of the year. Last time out in France, it didn't go well for championship leader Baumanis, while his rival Ulrich Linnemann was dominant. Baumanis' lead then down to 9 points, but he feels Spain will favour his car.
The track is new for everybody, and it looks good. I've been walking there, and fast tarmac section and a little bit slower gravels and big jumps, so I think it will be perfectly for us with my car, and it's good shape. We are in good shape for this weekend. The aim to get maximum points this event, and I will do my best. I know that I can push this car really well, as I show in the speed, and more than 5 seconds in the front of second place, and that's the key to do it. And I think this track is really good for this car, and I will show my best. I'm aiming to do the best as I can and get the maximum points. So I think everything could happen. So I will be a little bit careful and do really good runs, and then semi-final and final as good as I can.
I have a lot of unluck. I have been fastest ever races, but a lot of unluck. A broken engine in Belgium and a massive roll in Sweden. So I think we have to forget these races and focus on the new. It's for sure we are on the tracks who eat tires, and the same in France. I think I was a little bit lucky that I have new tires from Sweden after I rolled and I couldn't continue the finals. So I have 8 new tires for France, and I think it was one of the keys to take the maximum point in France. I have good tires for this race also, but I think we will need more tires for Italia, so we will see what happens. I need a lot of points, but first of all I need to have fun in the car, and then the result will be there, I think. In France we were very fast and took 17 points into Baumanis, and we hope to take in more points to him this race and have a good battle with him in the last 2 races. But first of all, I have to secure me the second place, and then we have to fight for the first. You have only 4 or 6 laps to make a good time, so you have to be on focus all the time in the heat. I think we have to take risk, but first of all we will secure the second place for the championship, and then we will take risk for the first place for sure.
Coming to the conclusion of qualifying, who's going to take that TQ spot? Is Hansen going to do it again? Because Kristoffersen's looking pretty tidy as well. Timmy's in this one with his teammate David Genet alongside him. Alex Danielson in the middle with Topi Heikkinen and Timo Timosjanov. There's Timmy. Goes between this combination of super relaxed and super pumped.
I don't know what he's saying. I don't know what
We'll
he's
have
saying.
to ask him, won't we? Let's hope it's not swearing. People could be horrified in Sweden. I'm sure they're not. Timmy's far too nice. Genet, the complete opposite. Exactly the same character he's in the paddock, just super quiet and calm. He's cold, Genet, not in a nasty way, just nothing seems to bother him. He's just super, super cool. There's Topi, a few blinks. Topi had a good old frown at the lights. There he goes, blinking now, so he doesn't have to in a minute, Andrew.
Absolutely. As soon as that marshal walks off the grid, everything is focused on those lights. You can see he's giving the guys thumbs up, into gear, anti-lag on, flat to the throttle, just watching for those lights.
Great start by Hansen and Genet on the inside. Genet drops a little bit back as they take second gear. Heikkinen's going well. Alex Danielson, I think, is going to be able to slot alongside Genet. So how wide will he run? Oh, Danielson runs out onto the dirt. Genet's in second, so it's Hansen from Genet. Danielson now with Heikkinen up the inside. Heikkinen's going to try and shut the door. Danielson on the dirt, and he's going to go back behind Timmer. Timmer runs into the back of Topi, but it's Hansen from Genet.
Perfect start for Hansen and Genet, wasn't it? Hansen actually edged over on Genet a little bit just to open up that turn 1 approach. We've said it's very tight coming off the start on the inside into turn 1, so we just wanted to open that up a little bit. But now we'll see what Timmy's got. We saw how quick he was yesterday. He wasn't too happy, I don't think, or Kenneth with the car in the previous heat. So we'll see if they've made any changes. Not sure what tyres he's on, if he's playing the long game, saving the fresh tyres again for the semi-final and the final, or if he's gone all out for this to try and be top qualifier.
See the way the car snapped there. Timmy's car really snapped on the braking, but he held on to it, no problem. The front 4 don't go to the Joker, Danielson does. So Danielson into the Joker, and the lead 4 are in a very high-speed train around this Spanish rallycross circuit. Great track, Andrew.
Absolutely, it's got a lot of variation. Very fast, long, high grip tarmac corners with them very slippery, tight, twisty, technical sections on the loose. Hansen will know here, he's got Genet behind, he knows there's not going to be any threats or anything like that. I raced with Davey like this in Lydden, and you know you've got that security from behind. You're not going to have any big lunges or any contact, or you shouldn't anyway.
Yeah, you shouldn't. You can certainly have a word if you do. Different line there, Hansen running slightly wide on the exit. There's that wall that Petr touched in the previous run.
Saw on board with Genet there, he had to suddenly correct it. He ran a little bit wide out, the long right-hander. Heikkinen had gone to the Joker, Timosjanov on the same, on the normal lap. So Genet's had to adjust, and you'll see the guys are so busy on the steering wheel, and with the circuit's always changing. Your line isn't necessarily going to be exactly the same every corner of every lap. You just need to be ready to readjust to that.
They're dragging dust out on board with Timmy now, dragging dust out in turn 2 where they're cutting the corner. Look at that.
Yeah, quickly grab the gears again, just trying to kill the wheel spin. These cars are so powerful. You certainly on the dirt section again there, he grabs second, third, I would think it is straight away just to keep the wheel spin down, use the engine's torque.
It is just relentless, the speed at which these guys are changing gear. It's just bang, 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 bang the whole time. Hansen still leading from his teammate Genet. Genet is dropping back slightly now, I think. On board again.
Timmy, they've both gone to the Joker, so
both to the Joker together. So
really good speeding. Look, straight exit. Genet runs a little bit wide on the exit, both through fine, no problem. So Timmy, what we're looking at lap times, he's not quite as quick as Solberg at the minute on absolute best lap times, but he's looking pretty tasty, I must admit. Quite a lot of understeer in the car though.
Yeah, I wonder if he's still on the old tyres.
Yeah.
So we know they had a balance problem in Heat 3. So far this year, he's been rapid in Heat 3 and Heat 4. Those tyres have deteriorated just slightly too far. Here, maybe because the track is so hard on the car, they were gone a little bit earlier.
It's a juggling act, isn't it? Because I suppose, you know, he's lying second at the minute, so if he finished Heat 4 and he was second overall, he's going to be on pole for the 1 semi-final with new tyres. But if he loses too much time in this heat, and say qualified 3rd or 4th, then are you going to get the advantage? So it's a real fine line the guys have got to do to decide what tyres.
Timmy Hansen round the last left-hander. Checker flag for him. His teammate Genet is second. Heikkinen and then Timosyanov, and Hansen has gone quicker than he's gone all weekend, so maybe he did have new tyres on. We didn't get the information, so maybe Peugeot kept it a secret from us, but he's straight on the radio to the team. That's rapid, Andrew.
So he's just, again, on a clear track compared to Petter Solberg, has gone quicker than him. Impressive stuff.
Yeah, amazing. Timmy Hansen with the win, Genet second, Hakkinen, Timosyanov and Danielson. Will that be enough to see Hansen TQ? He's ahead of Solberg here by 0.6. We'll see. Replay of the start. So look, difference between Hansen and Genet. Genet, did he slot into second on purpose there, or did he just not get away as well?
He probably didn't get away as well, but it's definitely better to slot in than sit it out around the outside with your teammate. But Timmy, as usual, doesn't look spectacularly quick, but he's absolutely flying. And we were saying, oh, don't know if he's on old tyres or not. Well, that time looked pretty good, didn't it? And he's just so on top of his game at the minute. It looks effortless. His on-board looks so relaxed. Absolutely at one with the car. A joy to watch.
His best lap was his last lap as well, so although you said the times weren't there at the start, he's then done a fantastic job towards the end of that race. Will it be enough for Hansen to take another TQ? There's only one race to go.
Timmy, after Heat 3, your dad said there was a problem with the balance of the car. That looked like it's better.
Yeah, I had such an incredible feeling yesterday, but this morning in warm-up and in Heat 3 it was gone. So we did some fine-tuning, and I think I found my rhythm again. So this was a really good heat.
The final heat race then, Heat 4, race 9. On the inside, Johan Kristoffersson. Next to him, Tanner Faust, Jerome Grosjean, Robin Larsson and Matthias Ekström. Jerome Grosjean was super fast in the last heat. Again, he's up against Rustad for the European Championship. The Monster Energy girls are leaving the grid. There you go, Ekström, hand down onto the steering wheel, sets the launch control up. He's looking at the marshal. As soon as that marshal goes, those eyes will divert across to the lights. On board with Kristoffersson, the old Darth Vader style helmet. The visor is down, he means business. Handbrake is on too, he's good to go. Tension building up here ahead of this final race. The marshal's still in the middle of the grid. They won't want this. It's going to be making them nervous. Holding them for a very, very long time. Grosjean running new tyres on the front, we're hearing. Will it be enough for him to outdo the World RX drivers? Let's see. Oh, great start by Faust. Faust has got away really well indeed. Ekström on the outside too. Larson, contact between Larson, Grosjean and Faust. Grosjean's on the inside. Faust runs wide. Ekström super sideways. Somehow comes in front. Kristoffersson, a little nudge up the backside there. Larson's gone up the inside of him. But it's Ekström who holds on. Wow.
Super brave from the 5th slot all the way around the outside, and then a slight love tap for Kristoffersson, not enough to...
Oh, Ekström slows.
I don't know if that was a missed gear or a false neutral or something. It slowed on the way out of that corner. But you can see Faust actually got the best start of everyone. Just crept a little bit, he got off the line really well, but then they all hooked up together and they're all trying to fight for the same bit of road, but it's slowing them all down. You can see Faust, he could do nothing about it. They're all into him a little bit.
Well, Faust really looked like he was going to be first, and he's ended up 5th away from the line. So banners flying over the track. That shows you how accurate the drivers are here. They're actually rubbing up against the barriers and taking those banners off. The 5 cars still in one piece into the Joker lap. Kristoffersson, Larsson, Faust have all gone. So those 3 all going now. Keen to try and get the tactics. If you were Faust at the back there, Andrew, would you have chosen a different tactic? Because your spotters probably called it, and then 2 guys going bosh just in front of you.
Absolutely. The last thing you want to do is follow people in there. But I know Matthias Ekström hasn't, up until now this season, been hugely happy with his starts. He's been making progress with them. But him and his car are super quick once he's going. So now we're going to see what pace he's got. His starts are getting much better. And we all know Sweden was a bittersweet victory for him, so he's going to be absolutely going flat out to try and stand on the top step of the podium, which unfortunately for him he didn't manage to do in Sweden before the stewards got involved.
3 different heat winners so far here this weekend. It was Hansen who took heat 1, Solberg took heat 2, Kristoffersson took 3.
So he gets the car turned, and a little bit of left foot brake, I would think, get the car turned, drives off, he's come out behind them.
Grosjean, and he couldn't dive up the inside. Grosjean, and he couldn't go up the inside of him, because on the inside of him was Kristoffersson, so he couldn't make that cut back across. Grosjean in the lead, but Janin hasn't jokered, so he's in the right place, but now Janin's holding him up.
Well, you might think, why have they done that? They've done that to cover off Kristoffersson, because Kristoffersson that last lap did a purple lap, which means it's the quickest lap of the race, 45.8, so they had to do that, otherwise they were going to come out, and it's Kristoffersson they're really battling in the overall classifications for the semi-final grid, so although he's going to be getting held up, which is going to be frustrating, they had to do that to come out in front of Kristoffersson.
At the moment, Kristoffersson is leading the intermediate classification. Hansen 2nd, Matthias Ekström 3rd. Grosjean in slow out of there.
You can hear Ekström having just hold it on the brakes, just so he wasn't running in the back of him, which is really holding up time. Janin goes to the lap, so this frees Ekström up now.
So Ekström then and Kristoffersson are free on the final lap. race around and try and make up that time, but I personally think that's going to have hurt their heat time. Hansen's gone the quickest anyone's gone this weekend. It could see Hansen take the top of the standings, but we will see. Just a lap to go and be able to find out where they're going to be, what points they're going to get, where is Solberg, what's going to happen in the championship. Ekstrom down the hill early on the brakes, slightly defensive from Kristoffersen, but I think he knows here, they probably both know, head down, let's get on with it.
Kristoffersen's a very switched on guy. Ekstrom's going to know he's not, unless Matthias makes a mistake, Kristoffersen isn't going to be looking to try and make a pass. He knows, let's just get together, get a quick time. We don't want to fight too much. These guys all know exactly what they're doing. They don't want to be fighting, that's the last thing they want to be doing.
Ekstrom chucks it into the last right-hander on dirt, round the double left. You're looking at his eyes as he takes the prize over the checkered flag. It is Ekstrom, Kristoffersen, Larsen, Faust and Grosjean in. They all finished despite that turn one contact, but it's not fast enough. It's a 3:16.3 from Ekstrom. There it is, 3:17.1 from Kristoffersen. Then it's Larsen, Faust and Grosjean in. So they held each other up a little bit. There are the standings for Heat 4. Timmy Hansen wins Heat 4, and that means that he has taken 2 out of the 4 wins. They've all had a result which wasn't ideal.
So look at the middle 3 cars. They all get hooked up a little bit. Ekstrom gives himself some room, turns it in very hard across the front of them, gives Kristoffersen room, big tyre smoke, and then he just covered Kristoffersen off enough on the way into turn 2. So very brave stuff. Just a little bit of an issue for Faust there. He'll be very frustrated because there was nothing he could do off that start, and it really slowed him up when all the cars started getting into each other. This is Ekstrom coming out of the Joker, so he couldn't quite pass the Peugeot, so that's going to be frustrating, but he knows he's covered down Kristoffersen there. You can see just losing a little bit drive off this on board, I think, with Kristoffersen. Great win for Ekstrom, a little bit frustrating to get held up in traffic, but a good overall win.
Great stuff. The crowd are heading off. They've got a little break, and that's because we know the semi-finals and the final are coming up later. There it is. Timmy Hansen with another TQ. It's Kristoffersen second, Ekstrom third, Genet, Larsen, Petter Solberg down in 6th. Reinis Nittisch, Topi Heikkinen, Bakker, Timosyanov, Faust and Linner. Just missing out are Stoll, Henning Solberg, Anton Markland and Timo Scheider. There's where they go onto the grid. It's Hansen on pole in semi-1, Kristoffersen on pole in semi-2, but Solberg is on row 2. Is that going to be key in whether or not he can make it through to the final? It's all about the championship fight between him and Hansen.
Well, there are 2 cars in the Markland Motorsport Garage ready to go into the semi-finals. There's Topi Heikkinen, who's one of them. Topi, first of all, good job getting into the semis. How easy or difficult is it to dial in this circuit in Barcelona?
No, I like this track. It's not, yeah, it's hard, of course, it's technical track. It's really slow corners and fast corner. Mix it together. And of course, the jump is nice and big one. So it's really nice to drive with the guys, and it's good to be having we are on the final together with Tanner. Not the final, but semi-final, I mean.
Well, hopefully the final. What's your position like? How do you think grid position will affect the semi-final?
Yeah, starting on the outside. So need to be out of the mess and just need to make a clean run to be in the semi-final. You know, it's the final. I'll mix it like so mess. But yeah, it will be good.
Good. Okay, thanks. Good luck, Topi. And we just swing around here. We'll see your teammate Tanner doing a great job this weekend, but it's not easy. We can see damage on the side of the car. It's quite tough out there.
I don't know what you're talking about. Wait, a lawyer? No, it's, I had a DNF in the first heat, and with 44 guys that are all incredibly fast, recovering was really unlikely. So it was a bit of a battle in the second and third heat, put in good positions in the fourth heat. In the start, just sort of got squeezed down the line, which you've seen a lot of people succumb to that, and but ended up barely making it, 11th out of 12 going into the semifinals. So really happy to be continuing with the weekend.
It's unusual for someone who's had 1 DNF to make it to the semis, so kudos for that. But also, having come in and out of this championship, have you noticed that there's a lift in the level as you've been away?
For sure, this year is over the top. It's, even last year you'd get 25 supercars, and it was a big deal to try to make it to the semifinals. Now, with, nearly double that, it's nearly twice as hard. And the cars are quick. I mean, a lot of the manufacturers have really stepped up, seeing a lot more manufacturer involvement in the sport, not just private teams. So the speed is there. The consistency is unbelievable. I was talking to Petter, actually, yesterday. You used to be able to have 3 good corners on a track, and you'd have the quickest lap. in practice. And now everybody has those perfect corners every single lap for the entire heat. So it really is just hairs separating people.
So will you be able to dial in 6 of those perfect laps to make it through to the final quickly?
Absolutely. Well, I need a little bit of mayhem in the start with the guys that are on the front row in order to have a chance. There's not a lot of passing. So once the seas part, hopefully I can go down the middle.
Good luck. Great to see you again.
Thank you.
Well, hello from a beautiful sunny Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia for round 10 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. We have a fantastic crowd here with us for the first ever running of this event. Great to see the Spanish fans out to support World Rallycross. Here's where we've been so far this year. Starting the season, of course, with those events all close together, coming now into the countdown towards the end of the season. Just Barcelona, Turkey, Italy and Argentina to go. Barcelona in Spain, Rallycross hasn't been here since 1989. It ran here between 87 and 89 with the Group B cars. As I say, it's proved popular with the fans, and they are back already. My name is Andrew Coley. Neil Cole is reporting from the paddock, as always, and alongside me this weekend is Andrew Jordan, who, of course, competed for Peugeot Hansen earlier this year. Andrew, great to see so many people coming here and embracing this sport after such a long break.
Well, I think it's great to have a new circuit in the championship. As you say, the crowd have really got into it. Been quite vocal throughout the races, which is great to see, but the circuit's throwing a real good challenge for the team because we've got a mixture of some really fast, high-grip tarmac and then some very tight and twisty low-grip gravel. So the guys have had their work cut out to make a compromise for a quick car.
Well, Neil Cole managed to catch up with Johan Kristoffersen, one of our semi-final pole men, just a short while ago.
Johan, it's been very impressive to watch you as fast as you've been all weekend here in Barcelona. Your pole position for semi-final 2, what can you do off the start?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we definitely find more and more speed during the weekend, and we have a good tire strategy now, so we have 4 new for the semi-final, and then I will see. I mean, I will try to push if I get out in the first, otherwise I will try to stay behind Shani if he gets the starts, and yeah, try to drive smooth and then hopefully get to the final.
Good luck. Thank you.
Well, Johan Kristoffersen back to his best this weekend. Someone who hasn't been quite so happy with his performance is Petter Solberg. We can have a look back at the battle between him and Timmy Hansen as they fought for pole position here in round 10. Petter Solberg then with a few problems. This was this morning. He broke his suspension in Heat 3. In Heat 4, he went on an absolute mission, set a blinding time. But he's actually had his worst qualifying performance of the year, whereas Timmy Hansen has taken his 4th TQ in a row. On an absolute flyer again. These are the semi-finals. It's Hansen on pole in semi-1, Johan Kristoffersen on pole in semi-2, and Petter Solberg, as you can see, will be starting from the 2nd row in the semi-final. That is the first time that's happened this year. He's always qualified 3rd or above. Well, these are the European Rallycross supercar drivers. That's Tommy Rustad, who went sideways, and then Grosjean trying to come around the outside of him. Watch Grosjean here. Unfortunately, Rajla into the side of him, and that was the end of Grosjean's race. Here, of course, he's in the fight for the championship with Rustad. There he is, climbing out the car. Shame for the Frenchman. Disappointed he's been fast this weekend as well, up with the World RX drivers, but so has Rustad. That was Rustad taking his Joker lap. Coming around the outside, the Joker lap exit here is very, very fast. You can carry the speed onto the straight. A little bit of dust in the air. Ollie O'Donovan was running in 3rd place for a while. A couple of mistakes for him meant that he couldn't hold on to that. Osi Baby down into the Joker lap. Rustad up the inside, and Rustad was in the lead. Fantastic job by him, and that is his 3rd European Supercar Rallycross win in a row.
Tommy, a big round of applause from the Barcelona crowd and from your team up in the spotters tower. You've won here in Barcelona, extending your championship lead.
Yeah, it's so great. It's so nice feeling, and everything works quite well. I have been fighting with the top drivers in the World Championship this weekend, and the car
it's working very, very good, and the team will make a very, very good job. So thank you, everyone in the team and sponsors and everything, everyone which is supporting me. And it's a great feeling because I was racing Renault Sports by the European Championship here in 1997, and I won the race.
It's a comeback.
Yes, it is.
Rustad very, very pleased with that third win. Good job by him climbing back into the car. Applause from the crowd. Rustad leading the standings. Jerome Grosjean in his second, but that hasn't helped him retiring from the final. Rajla in third. One more round to go. We'll get to see who wins the championship in Italy in a month's time. Well, here's what we've got coming up for you in the next hour. First of all, then, the all-important World RX Supercar semi-finals. Top three go through, the bottom three go out. We have a bit of carnage in those sometimes. Hopefully it'll be clean racing today, but looking forward to seeing what will happen. We then have the RX Lights final for you live. And, of course, finally, the Supercar final for round 10 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. Neil Cole has been down chatting to more of the drivers ahead of the semi-finals, and he's managed to grab Matthias Ekström for a chat just a few minutes ago.
Matthias, you and the car have been very quick all weekend so far. What's the strategy in the semi?
Yeah, I mean, we've been quick all day, I would say, yesterday and today. Maybe not the very fastest, but on the pace. And semi is pretty simple. Make a good start and keep the pressure on and try to reach the final.
And in terms of grid position, how important is it here at this new circuit?
It's always important, especially for me. I enjoy to being on the first row in the semis because it's always difficult. But also here, when you're second row inside, it's pretty good. So I'm pretty sure we have a good starting spot. We can make something happen.
Good luck. Thanks.
Thanks.
Well, very much looking forward to the semi-finals, as always, as is this lovely big crowd here. It's been a beautiful day today. A little bit cloudy this morning, a little bit cloudy less yesterday afternoon, but sunshine other than that. Andrew Jordan, it's been great. Really looking forward to these the semi-finals. First one coming up, Hansen and Ekström on the front row.
It's going to be a good race, and Hansen's been, I've said it a lot this weekend, absolutely on fire. He's really got his confidence high after obviously coming off 2 straight wins, and it's just carried over. He looks really relaxed with the car. I think he's going to be very hard to beat.
What about this qualifying record as well? 5 times in a row TQ is just a mega record.
Well, twice this weekend as well. We've seen him go head-to-head in separate races, but on clear tracks with Petter Solberg, and he's beaten him both times on pace. So he's in the right place at the minute. I think he's going to be the one to beat.
Well, let's see who is in this first semi-final. On pole, then, Timmy Hansen, his fellow countryman Matthias Ekström alongside him. Row 2, Robin Larsson and Reinis Nittisch. And then row 3, Andreas Backerud and Tanner Faust. The other semi-final you can see in the background, waiting to go. Hansen is all fired up already. So are the other cars ready for this one. Oh, not the great start, but Hansen looks like Ekström was ahead, but can Hansen be alongside him up into turn 1? No one's going to want to cut the corner. Ekström carries the speed around the outside. Nittisch wide for Ekström. Ekström off in the dirt. Nittisch is up into second place. Larsson gets into the back of him. Ekström trying to come around the outside. He's going to be on the inside for turn 3, but Larsson's alongside him too. Larsson gets pushed wide, but Larsson comes through in third place.
Ekström was super brave around the outside at turn 1. He had to do it. He said it himself. Timmy didn't get the best initial start, then came back strong. Matthias Ekström sat it out around the outside. It looked like he was going to come off, and he just lost the back, which dragged him off to the dirt. So he's really lost out.
So in terms of tyres, we've got some information. Timmy Hansen is on new, Matthias Ekström on used. Larsson is on new, Nittisch has got new ones on the right, so has Backerud. Faust is on used tyres, so lots of different strategies here. But again, Peugeot Hansen have managed to save new tyres for the semis, and that could be crucial, Andrew.
Absolutely, you know, if you can get through the heats on one set of tyres, you get 8 tyres for a weekend. Look at this, Larsson at the inside of Nittisch. Little bit of contact gets it stopped, and you can see them there hugging them. Look, 2 wheels over the grass, and get it stopped hard, right. Fantastic. And then left. There'll be a tug on the handbrake, get the car turned.
Fantastic job by Ekström, absolutely. Sorry, Larsson, fantastic job by him. Hansen, though, already gapped them.
Freeing Hansen up. The more they battle behind, it's just playing into Hansen's hands, and they've got everything sorted. You know, the Hansen starts, you don't very often see them make a bad one. They're just very consistent. They go about their work, and they're really on top of their stuff.
Hansen leading then on the second lap so far. Ekström and Faust have jokered. Everybody else is yet to joker. Timmy round the final corner. There is the joker lap at the bottom of your screen. We thought it was going to be quite short, but it's actually been around 4 seconds. Nitish and Baccarat running together. Is Nitish holding Baccarat up?
I think it is, and if they start fighting too much, I doubt there'll be any team orders, but that's just going to bring them back to Ekstrom, who's the first car that's in his Joker lap. So really, Ekstrom at the minute is only racing those Fords.
Here we go, on board with
just
Hansen.
Look how quick he grabs the gears. We've seen that a lot. Short shifting on the dirt sections, trying to reduce that wheel spin, keep the car driving forward. Baccarat at the inside of Nitish.
Yeah, job done. Baccarat, so a lovely move up the inside. Nitish trying to find traction on the exit. On board with Nitish now. There's his teammate Baccarat ahead. This one's the crucial one, the right-hander up the hill. Dust there. If you run slightly wide, and Baccarat does it, as I say, almost just holds onto the traction and keeps it online, but it's critical to get it right.
But look
in there.
at Ekstrom's creeping up. The more they battle, Ekstrom, I would think, if there's no mistakes or no car problems, will definitely be through to third, and that last spot going through to the final.
So Ekstrom then with a nice piece of strategy. Baccarat possibly held up by his own teammate Nitish, so those two guys might not make it through. On the brakes at the end of the straight and waiting.
Look how much steering lock he's got on there. He's got quite a bit of understeer in the car. You can see that. He just has to hold the lock on hold, wait, be very patient, and that's why he's then looking to go for the handbrake.
Great job by Larson too. What are they going to do here about when they joke? Because obviously Ekstrom's the danger man really for them. If they go now, they end up back in traffic. It's hard to judge.
Yeah, you know, realistically, Larson is going to, the best he'll be is second unless there's any mistakes or anything from Timmy. So you just need to go keep it nice and clean and tidy on board with Ekstrom there. He knows he's right on their tail, so he can just sit and wait for them to take their Joker out.
Larson doing really well recently, isn't he? We said it earlier on today, but with the pressure off, Larson seems to be finding a little bit more performance than before.
Absolutely, he's had a few good results now. He's kind of got rid of the bad luck. He seems like he's driving a lot more relaxed. And Michael Jernberger, his spotter earlier, said, you know, when he doesn't try too hard, the speed comes. And once he's had a couple of good results,
there's Kenneth, yeah.
Cool customer watching on, and he'll be doing a lot of split times. He's, you know, even though they've got them placed at the minute, Kenneth does a lot of split times around the lap, see when he's clear to take the Joker and when he's going to come out and clear traffic.
Andrew, you've been in a situation where you've been in a rut of good performances. Hansen's in there. What's that feeling of confidence like?
It's great. I'd love to know how much time actually being very confident gains you. I'm sure it does, because you're just in the right place. You come to every event knowing you're going to be either the or one of the quickest drivers, and that's exactly what Tim is like at the minute. He's in the right place in his head. All his preparation he's doing is spot on.
Larson into the Joker lap, so Larson comes out backward.
Contact. That's contact with Ekstrom.
So Ekstrom then going slowly on the straight. Faust is gaining on Ekstrom from the commentary position. We can see that. Baccarat with the front corner hanging off. Larson in behind. So Hansen and Baccarat are the only people not to have jokered.
You can see the damage here.
He had damage already
too. The Joker, he carried the speed, came straight across Ekstrom. Ekstrom had a massive moment trying to keep out of the concrete blocks. Luckily, it hasn't broke the suspension. I still think he's going to be safe in third behind Baccarat.
So Baccarat, do you think when he jokers, he's going to drop behind these guys? Well, Hansen's out front. When's Hansen going to go? He has to go on this next lap. So in we go. Hansen sweeps around from the Joker. Baccarat goes in with him. And Larson's going to get second, so it's Hansen, Larson and Faust has managed to get past Ekstrom. Faust comes over the line. Ekstrom ends up fifth. So a bit of a disaster for Ekstrom on that last lap. Is that all about that the Joker lap exit and the merge?
No, I think he's bent something. I think with the contact, it looked very heavy contact when Larson rejoined off the Joker lap, so I wouldn't mind betting something's bent on the suspension. Looks like there's a lot of damage to the car.
Quick chat there between Timmy and Kenneth about the result. He looks happy. And here it is then. Timmy Hansen with the win. It's Robin Larson who goes through in second. Faust in third. Baccarat, Ekstrom and Nitish are out. We can have a look back at some of the action. Maybe we can pick up that problem for Ekstrom, because he looked really strong, didn't he?
Look, this is how brave he sits it there. Look at, he comes into view, just almost kisses the wall. Very, very good job to keep that out of the wall. He had to try it. He was there on the outside. He absolutely had to go for it. And Timmy, though, out front in a class of his own, nice and smooth. Timmy Hansen style, he calls it. Nice, neat and tidy. This was the move from Baccarat on Nitish. Always a bit risky with your teammate, but he decided he was going for it. No contact, nice and clean move.
It was a good clean move. Baccarat over the jump. This is on board with Ekstrom, so maybe we'll see. I think this is the lap before the problem, is it? There's Hansen. Just no problems at all out front. There it is.
See, Larson came straight across. He had a massive moment to keep that out of the wall, so I wouldn't mind betting that's bent some suspension. But a great win for Timmy Hansen.
Top job by him, through to pole in the final.
Kenneth, it looks like the strategy is have a very fast car, a very fast driver, and leave all the trouble behind.
That's right. It makes it very easy then, but you never know. You know, a small thing, a small miss in the start or something. We saw the first corner was very tight with Matthias, and it's easy that the plans can change, but so far in this semi-final it was really good.
We'll see you in the final. Good luck.
Yeah, we'll see you in the final.
All smiles from Kenneth on pole in the final again. They know that Timmy can withstand the pressure. The pressure isn't going to be any higher than it was last time. He's got 2 wins now, so he's got that monkey off his back. And of course, they won at home in front of the Peugeot staff and guests. Monster Energy girls on the grid for semi-final number 2. All the cars are in position and ready to go. Let's have a look at how they line up for this one. And they're starting the start procedure. I think that's going to have to hold. Johan Kristoffersson on pole, David Genet in second. Petter Solberg is third, Tommy Heikkinen alongside him. And then it's Timo Timosjanov and Tord Linnerud. So getting ready for the start. Second time lucky for these guys. The marshal gives them the thumbs up. Runs across the grid. You can hear Petter Solberg's engine note. It's totally different to all the other cars. Oh, good start by Kristoffersson, bad start by Genet. Heikkinen's going to try and come around the outside. So Heikkinen around the outside of Genet. Genet's got the inside line. Solberg's tucked up right behind him. He knows he needs to make it through to the final. Heikkinen runs wide. Solberg up the inside of Genet. Down into turn 2. Is there going to be contact there? We can't see it on board there. Genet holds on, so Solberg then is on the outside. Heikkinen's going to push Solberg into the wall. Solberg almost hit the one there. Oh, it's Timosjanov up the inside of Heikkinen.
Very risky for Solberg there, wasn't he? He's got his back up against the wall. He needs to. Yes, he's got a big points lead, but he knows Tim is on a roll. He knows Tim has just won the first semi-final, so he needs to get through to that final. He needs to be in the top 3, so forget about race times now. It's top 3 position. Just look how close he was there, but that was really risky for Petter getting stuck in. Good hard racing between him, David Genet and Heikkinen.
Now we know Solberg is on used tyres, so he hasn't managed to save a new set, and we know that at Lowiak that cost him, particularly in the final. Andrew, we've seen high tyre wear here.
Yeah, it's been very, very hard on the tyres. Lots of long, hard, loaded tarmac corners. But just a shout out to Kristoffersson, he's disappeared off into the lead. Fastest lap of the weekend off the start. The start's a fair bit way back off the circuit, so they get a very quick approach, but he's done a 45.2. So we know he's on new tyres, but he's been rapid all weekend. He's going to be the only one, I think, that's going to take it to Timmy Hansen on pace.
Well, I'll be very interested to see that if those 2 guys end up on the front row together. Genet with Solberg behind him. Totally different driving styles between those 2. Genet was so tight, he could do Solberg's standard style of just sideways, one wheel off in the dirt on the inside. Here, look at this. Is Solberg going to joke? If he doesn't, he stays behind. Would you have gone then, or is that going to drop you back in traffic?
That's what you need to be careful of, because it's easy for us or as a driver to say, right, I'm going to go now, I'm in traffic, but you need to look at where it's going to drop you back, because if it's going to drop you back someone who's got a problem or someone further back, then it defeats the object of going
so that's
now.
Where you really need your spotter. It's all very well to you to look at what's going on in front of you, but you cannot know what's behind.
Absolutely, they're doing split time the whole.
Oh, Genet hits the tyres on the side of the road. Has he damaged the car? Genet then with heavy front right damage. The car looks okay at the minute. The jump might be the next big impact for that, so we'll see if it holds on. If he manages that, maybe it'll be okay. Round the right hand, and look how slow they are into there. Just ever so careful.
You've got to get it in. If you don't, we've seen it, if you're a couple of inches offline, you get dragged into the thick dirt. I think the car's all right, to be honest. I think with something like that, if it was going to puncture the tyre, Solberg to the Joker. So he's had enough. He wants to get into clear air.
So Timosjanov and Linnerud have Joker ready. There's Timosjanov on the merge. Timosjanov, Solberg coming around the outside. Solberg carries the speed. So he's ahead of the 2 guys already. Joker Linnerud has come past the common position, going fairly slowly. So I don't think he's had a problem. He's not super slow, but look at that from Solberg.
Solberg going flat out now to try and get the undercut on Genet. When Genet goes to the Joker, Solberg's in clear air. We know how quick he is. He's been very quick on board with Kristoffersson. Grabbing the gears on the flat shift. Down a gear, down a couple, little, keep it nice, neat, tidy, patient, wait. Then he goes, starts short shifting. A little flick left to go over the jump. He'll go light. You can hear him off the throttle as it lands straight into the right-hander.
Fantastic analysis from Andrew Jordan, looking at Johan Kristoffersson, the winner of round 1 of the World Rallycross Championship. This man, don't forget, is the only other person to have led this championship. We thought he was going to take the fight to Solberg. It didn't happen.
Absolutely, but he's had a bit of bad luck at the last couple of rounds, and his dad was interviewed earlier, Tommy, and he said we've gone back to the settings that we had at the start of the year. So whether they're trying different things, different set of things, and it just lost their way a little bit. But now, from the get-go, from the first run in practice, Kristoffersson has been right on the pace, if not setting the pace.
He did well in France as well. Kristoffersson was 4th in France, came 2nd in his semi-final. This is absolutely dominant. Just looking down at the time of Timmy Hansen was 4:49.3, so we might be able to compare that to Kristoffersson. What tyres is he on? Kristoffersson is on new tyres as well, so I think you might be right, Andrew. I think this could be a Kristoffersen-Hansen fight. Kristoffersen to the joke lap, in he goes through. He goes with a lap to spare. Oh, Genet so sideways. You can see him coming off the standard lap into the joker. Hakkinen goes with him. Solberg's going to come through. I think Solberg's going to end up in second place here. Everybody's joking now. Where does Timosyanov end up? Timosyanov slots into 5th.
But just see how much smoke's coming off these tyres of Solberg. That's going to be taking life out of them on this high grip tarmac for the final. And what a lot of the teams will do straight away, because it's such a quick turnaround, they'll try and cool the tyres as much as possible with cold water, try and get the pressure down, try and cool the tyres as much as possible in the quick turnaround before the final.
You can see the tyre bales out in the middle of the road there. So one of the drivers has clipped the tyre bale down at the hairpin where it goes from dirt to tarmac. Last lap, Kristoffersen being so super tidy here. Remember that time of Timmy Hansen is 4:49.3. This will give us an indicator of how quick Kristoffersen is. Kristoffersen into the last left, flicks it left, left again, on the gas over the line. It's a 4:45. He's 4 seconds quicker than Hansen was in the first semi. We know different things have happened in the 2 races, but Andrew, he looks good.
He looks absolutely on the pace, and we don't know how much Timmy Hansen backed it off when he knew he had a big lead. Again, saving those tyres for the final.
That visor down.
He's a cool customer, isn't he, Kristoffersen?
Yeah.
Whatever he turns his hands to, he wins it.
11 wins in a row this year in the Porsche Carrera Cup Scandinavia. It's outrageous. He wins his semi-final here. Kristoffersen followed by Solberg and Genet. And then it's Hakkinen, Timosyanov and Linerud who will not be going through to the final. From the start, yeah, it wasn't so good, was it, for Genet? So
Look,
Genet,
this was really risky with Solberg. He's got to get stuck in. There's a gap there. Genet did very well to hold it around there, flick it. Hakkinen looked at the inside. Little bit of door handling, but Solberg stood his ground because he didn't want to get driven straight into those tyres. Kristoffersen now out front, again in a class of his own. Let all the fighting happen behind him. Using those new tyres very well.
Yeah, new tyres, careful drive. That was the contact for Genet, wasn't it? The car was okay, held up. He does make it through, but to the back row.
This was a massive moment there. Look, you saw he landed just a bit out of shape in the thick dirt. Massive slide, but Kristoffersen out front. Pretty quiet race for him, but a dominant win.
Great job by him. Neil Cole is down in the winners area, and he's managed to grab Kristoffersen, so we can hear from him now.
Johan, incredible job there. You're all set up to maybe win another race, another weekend.
We'll see. Team is quick, but I have a great start. But yeah, we'll see. The car is absolutely fantastic. I have to thank everybody who helped me. Fantastic. Now I have to go and cool down the stuff, and then we'll see you in the final.
Okay, good luck. Thank you.
Kristoffersen very happy with that. Him and Hansen on the front row. It is going to be a battle royale for round 10 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. Super 1600s are here this weekend. Janis Baumanis had a pretty torrid time at Loiac, took a safe approach to it and then didn't make it through to the final. Ulrich Linnemann won there, and he really did slice into Baumanis' championship lead. This weekend it's gone the other way, so Baumanis in the final. Linnemann didn't even make the semis, and that means that Baumanis could have won the title here, but he didn't. Right behind him, Szabo in the white Fabia managed to make it through. And that means that the championship will go down to the final round, but Baumanis looking very strong for the title. He'll have an enormous lead when we go to Italy for their final event. Dubourg, this was his first win. He holds on right the way to the flag. Of course, he was second earlier on this year. He was second, I think, back in France as well, his home event, when his brother was on the podium in World RX. He was on the podium in Super 1600. You can see the gap he had. He's been on a mission all weekend long. Fantastic job by him. Szabo did manage to get past Stepankus in the end. Stepankus was holding everybody up when he decided to take a late joker, and I think that would have been nervous times for Baumanis. Baumanis hoping not to get in any trouble with Miss Julia right behind him. Miss Julia can be quite fiery. We haven't seen the performance from him this year that we did see last year. Baumanis definitely a little bit nervous coming into this round. There was the pass from Szabo on Stepankus. Szabo then running a little bit wide. Stepankus back up the inside. And Baumanis just holding on, hoping to pick up the points that he needed to take the title. But with Szabo right there just in front of him, that wasn't going to happen. I think he needed to outscore Szabo by 3 points in the final, and that would have meant that he could have confirmed the title here. That would have been lovely for him, because then he can just relax in the last round and enjoy it. He'll be nervous, but 3 points isn't too many to pick up. A great win for Dubourg. Big sideways from him, celebration. second, Szabo, and third, Baumanis. De Bourg taking 8 points from this one, Szabo 5, Baumanis 4. You can see there, so Szabo, meaning that Baumanis didn't get the points he needed to tie up the championship. Miss Julia was in 4th, Medici 5th, and Stepankas in 6th. Worth a mention for Medici, makes the final again in that Clio Super 1600. De Bourg happy, as I say, but championship-wise, it will all be about Baumanis and Szabo when we go to Italy. Crowd are waiting for the RX Lights final, which will be coming up next. The youngsters, of course, in the one-make championship. They'll be doing battle. They've got another round left as well. A crowd of 40,000 people here over the weekend. Absolutely fantastic for a first time for a World Rallycross event. Brilliant to see such support, Andrew Jordan, at this event for the very first time.
As I said earlier, they've really got into it. They've been very enthusiastic, lots of Mexican waves, and lots of applause for all the drivers. So it's great to see. It's, you know, it's a relatively new sport, hasn't been here for years. So for them to get so much behind it, have such a great crowd at its first event, really impressive to see.
Well, hopefully we'll see them all come back next year. We can see the grid lineup now then for the RX Lights final. On the front row, Thomas Brinterson and Cyril Raymond alongside, Kevin Hansen and Kevin Eriksson. And then on the back row, it's Simon Vego Sversen and Joachim Wahl. One make championship. If you haven't seen the lights for a while, remember, normally aspirated engines. Quite hard for these guys to get off the line. Very, very, very long hole, but great start by Brinson. Raymond almost blocked. Hansen gets ahead of the other Kevin Eriksson. Hansen moves across to the inside to guard his line, but it's Brinderson up into turn one first with Cyril Raymond right behind him. Kevin Hansen covering off Kevin Eriksson on the brakes down into turn two. Good job.
It's the two Kevins are battling for the lead of the championship in third and fourth, but Brinderson been in a class of his own this weekend. He's just looked very neat and tidy. He goes about his business and has looked pretty unchallenged. Kevin Hansen in third got a good start in that one. He struggled with his starts. As he said, it's very uphill here. These are normally aspirators, so not a huge amount of horsepower. They're having to slip the clutch a lot to get them off the line, and he's just been struggling with that. That was his best start of the weekend.
Cyril Raymond in second. You can see Kevin Hansen third. Kevin Eriksson, who's in fourth place, worth mentioning that he won the Swedish Supercar Championship last weekend. When we spoke to him, he said to me that he keeps thinking there's a problem because basically he's had his power halved from 600 plus horsepower to just over 300 horsepower.
Yeah, he did actually, but he also said that the corner speeds on these feels a fair bit quicker than a supercar. They're a lot lighter, and the lap times aren't, you know, there's a few seconds in it, but not as much as you'd expect with the horsepower difference.
In the wet, we've seen these guys right up there just because of that reason. Brinderson leading. This would be...
Hansen's looking a bit more racy here. He looks like he's just been struggling a little bit. We spoke to him last night. He said he wasn't sure where they're at with the car setup. He was probably going to go back to basics a little bit from the start of the year. You know, he's normally the pace setter or right up there. And he just said he's just struggling a little bit and didn't quite know why.
How do you do this? So we've mentioned it again in the previous semi-final of losing away with the settings, that Johan Kristoffersen had done the same thing. You start the year with a great car, you tweak little bits and you like it and you like it and you like it, and then suddenly you're 5 or 6 changes away from that base setup and the car stops working.
There's so many things you can change, and it is very easy to do because you can't just stand still. You can't go, right, well, we're going to leave the car exactly the same as it was at the start of the season. You know, you look at Formula 1, the development racing that through the season, obviously it's not quite as extreme as that, but the same principles apply. You need to keep moving things forward. You need to try and keep improving the car, getting more speed from it, and from time to time you'll go the wrong way, or you make a couple of wrong changes, which then open up a little can of worms elsewhere with the car setup. So it's easy to do, but sometimes you need to take a step back, go back to basics, go back to what works, and then almost start again with that.
Brinderson leading here. This would be his third win in a row. He won in Sweden and he won in Norway. So he's come into this and he's really showing Hansen and Eriksson, we know really, and Eriksson, as I say, that goes to the joke lab. We know those two guys are the benchmark in this class, but Brinderson's come in and has kind of re-benchmarked it. We know that Hansen and Eriksson will both love to move on to supercars, but you can't just do that. It's, you know, big budget, big difference.
Absolutely. So Brinderson, He just looks quick. I've been away for a couple of rounds, so I haven't really seen much of him, and came here and said, who's this guy? Because he looks very tasty, looks neat and tidy, just keeps the car going forward all the time. These cars with the lower horsepower, you can't afford to have big power slides. You need to keep the momentum up, drive them much more neat and tidy.
Differences as well, of course, we've got several feeder classes. RX Lights is four-wheel drive, normally aspirate about half the power of a supercar. We've got the rear-wheel drive touring car. We've seen a great performance from Frederick Salston in that, coming into a supercar. You see people like Backwood and Nittish who've come from Super 1600. It seems that any of these classes, as we see Hansen and Raymond go to the Joker lap, Brinterson still to Joker, where are they going to feed back in? They're both going to get past and they're carrying more speed, they do. So Kevin Eriksson stuck up behind Val as well. So Val holding Kevin Eriksson up. Kevin Eriksson, I bet, wishing he was in the supercar now. But getting back to it, you know, they all seem to be good feeder classes, but particularly this with having to carry that momentum too.
Absolutely, and you know, a car's a car at the end of the day. If you can drive, yes, it's going to be different techniques and different driving styles. But if you can drive, you can drive. And we've seen that, as you say, with Backwood and Nittish coming up from Super 1600, taking wins in the first year in supercars. It's not by fluke, it's very competitive. But if you learn your trade, if you learn the whole rallycross scene, pretty much whatever the car, if you're a quick driver, you know the sport, you should be able to be competitive.
Brinterson looking very, very strong. He's a clear leader here. Comes around the Joker lap. Cyril Raymond is still in second place, but Brinterson out in front, and now he's going to carry that speed all the way down the straight. Cyril Raymond in second, backed by the French Federation. Of course, they've had enormous success backing people like Sébastien Loeb and Sébastien Ogier in World Rallying. Great to see them taking young drivers on board, trying to move them forward. Raymond doing a nice job here in second place. Hansen's going to come through for a podium. Hansen at the minute is leading the championship from Kevin Eriksson, only by 9 points. Obviously beating him here is going to extend that lead a little bit.
Yeah, I think Hansen will actually be pretty pleased with that. As I say, he looked a bit disheartened last night, and for that to come and get a podium, extend his points lead, yes, he's going to want to know where this guy's quicker than him, or whether what they're doing with the car, but still he'll be pretty happy with that.
Brinterson into the last corner. It is a third RX Lights win in a row for him. Second place to Cyril Raymond. And third to Kevin Hansen. Kevin Eriksson crosses the line in fourth. And it's Val and Vega Sversen. So that will extend Hansen's championship lead just by a couple of points. They roll back down towards the paddock. No carnage there, not too much contact. The young drivers maybe showing the older drivers what should be done. From the start, that tricky uphill start with the normally aspirated engines. But Brinterson, no one got near him, Andrew.
Absolutely not. He just looks so smooth, doesn't he? He's obviously very confident. His third straight win, so that's going to give him even more of a confidence boost going to the next event, which his competitors won't be too keen on. You can see there, the cars look just slight oversteer, want to keep the momentum up, and he did that perfectly in that race.
Thomas Brinterson takes the win from Cyril Raymond, Kevin Hansen and Kevin Eriksson, followed by Joachim Val and Simon Vego Suez. Crowd enjoyed that, but I know what they're waiting for. They are waiting for the World RX Supercar final. That'll be with us shortly. We'll see who wins round 10 of the World Rallycross Championship. In the meantime, we can have a chat with the man who's won this round of the RX Lights. Brinterson is with Neil Cole.
Thomas, that's your third win of the year, and you made it look so easy.
It's very fun to drive now.
I guess you like this new circuit.
Yes, it was tricky in the beginning because the gravel was so slippery, but now it's a good grip, and yeah, it's very fun.
Yes, very happy, well done.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Good job by Brinterson. We can have a look at the championship standings with 2 rounds to go. Kevin Hansen leading from Kevin Eriksson. It's Brinterson, Olofsson and Val. I think the gap is exactly the same, so possibly a discrepancy between them, of course, in qualifying. Either way, it's going to go down to the final round. Supercar finalists are getting ready down on the last corner of the F1 and MotoGP circuit. Normally the right-hander down to that very long straight here at the Circuit of Barcelona, Catalunya. Instead, they're going the wrong way up the last straight off the start here and heading up towards our turn 1 for the World Rallycross Championship. Great to have World Rallycross here. Fantastic new venue and a great new track. There's Peter Solberg, the world champion, of course, the World Championship leader with an enormous lead. and he's had a lot of support here this weekend. To be fair, the fans are pretty enthusiastic when anybody does anything, including putting a car on its side, which we've seen a couple of times this afternoon. They will applaud that, particularly as well. Southston earlier wasn't very well after he'd been in the car with a lot of smoke. He got out of the car and the fans were brilliant. Massive round of applause just to see that he was out of the car and okay.
They've really got into it, haven't they? And I saw when we went to a shot of Christopherson's car there, you could see some of the technicians with tyre pressure gauges messing with the tyres. As we've seen, tyres are so crucial here, so they're doing all they can to make sure they're spot on for this final.
Well, ahead of the final, we can have a catch-up with Tanner Faust, who, of course, is going to feature in it. Neil Cole's found him now.
Tanner, gearing up for the final. You're in another final, which is very exciting. Superb job, strategy in your semi. Just got to do the same again, I guess.
Strategy? That's what they call it, okay. Yeah, I was the last coming into the second corner, which definitely wasn't the plan, but starting on the outside is so difficult. And I was in 5th place, and Adam, my spotter, said you have to pass Ekstrom, and I was thinking, how in the hell am I supposed to do that? You know, it's a difficult track to pass, but he made a bit of a mistake on the right-hand corner, went wide, and that was the door open. Made it through there, made the pass on the normal lap with another car taking the Joker, and there was 3rd place. So really lucky to be here after getting a DNF in the first heat. Unbelievable to come down to 6 cars after, you know, such a huge pack coming out here of competitive guys.
All the best in the final.
Tanner's been doing really well in American Rallycross recently. Of course, he got a podium last time he was with us. That was in Canada. Just looking back to the events he's done this year. Faust is still in 14th in the championship, having only done 4 rounds. So was with us Hockenheim, UK, Canada, and this is his last appearance here in Spain. Well, Robin Larson got a podium in Norway and has suddenly found a big bit of form. Neil Cole's with him. We can hear his thoughts out of the final.
Robin, it's great to see you in another final. The car seems to be finally coming together properly. What can you do in the final?
Just a good start, I think. We got a bad start now, but I had luck in the first corner, so a good start and try to squeeze in the first corner and get a top 3 position again. So everything can happen now. You really noticed it's more tougher in the semi and the final, so it's time to be really tough now.
We'll let you get your helmet on. Good luck.
Thanks.
I'd like to see him win, personally. A couple of years ago, Andrew, when he first came into World Direction, those guys, they're loving it. Yes, let's have a little dance. Sun's out. I suspect they may have had 1 or 2 beers. I might be wrong. I might be wrong.
Very happy guys, aren't they?
They're having a great day. They're going to do the entire grandstand. Neil's managed to grab another one of our finalists. We'll leave our dancers to it and hear from Neil.
Pet, I can see you putting your special Barcelona gloves on. Is it gloves off for this battle for the win?
Well, I would like to say it would be nice for a victory. A little bit bad in the 3rd heat in the dust, but I will do my best. Think about the World Championship points also, so it's very clear that we have to be very smart now after the Peugeot factory team is strong.
Solberg's always a bit nervous, isn't he? But a tiny little dig there, I think, you know, at how strong the competitors are. He knows he's just having the lead nibbled away. He knows he's just got to keep doing it. But going back to last night, I was mentioning a minute ago, he nearly won in Lidnander a couple of years ago when you were there with Ford at that time. He's a strong competitor, and they've tried really hard, and he's a mega celebrator. I'd love to see if he wins.
Absolutely, he's you know, he's really on top of his game. He's very, very confident. It'd be great to see him get a podium, if not a bit better.
I wonder if Timmy Hansen can get another win. Neil's with him now.
Timmy, you were just talking on the radio there. Any final instructions?
Yeah, now it's the final. It's me and Johan. I think he was really fast, but I have 1 more step to take, so we will definitely go for the win now.
What is it, though? Thanks, Timmy.
So Timmy saying he's got 1 more step to go, so meaning he's got another level of pace to go, Andrew. I mean, you believe that?
Well, I hope that for the competitors' sake, maybe not. But him and Johan Kristoffersson, I think, are actually quite good friends. But I think that kind of goes out the window. You can see Bakkerud enjoying the rest of the race, and frustrating for him not go through the final, but he's going to sit and have his feet up and watch a good race. And
typical that he spotted himself on the big screen immediately, didn't he? So Bakkerud going to watch it from the stands. Everyone looking forward to it. Davy Genet has now been grabbed by Neil Cole. We're going to get them all.
Davy, the car looks a little bit damaged, but you've made it to the grid. What's the strategy for the final?
Yes, during the semi-final, I touched the tire inside the corner, and the bumper is a little damaged. And now I start last line, and I hope a good start and overtake 2 guys, I think, and I hope the result is good with Timmy.
Good luck.
So Genet thinking about his teammate, but very specific there. I hope overtake 2 guys. That says to me the team have said, look, this is what we think you can achieve from 6th on the grid, and nothing to lose from there either.
Absolutely, it's, you know, they're very realistic, and it's important to do that. So realistically, is he going to win from the back row of the grid if there's no trouble in front? Probably not. So if he's got it in his head, if he can get a top 4, something like that, then he'll be happy with it.
Backward starts another Mexican wave. Meanwhile, Neil has found Johan Kristoffersen.
Johan, you're the man to beat. So what can you do in the final?
We will see. I mean, I think we had a good start in the semi-final. We'll try to copy that, and yeah, we'll see. They put a lot of water on the track now, which makes everything like a gamble. So, but we will see. I will do my best.
Good luck. Thank you.
Well, I must admit, I hadn't spotted that, but he's right. Kristoffersen's had information from his spotters, and looking up from the competition, we've got a bit of water out there, Andrew.
Yeah, we've seen, though, he got a very good start, and Kristoffersen motorsport cars are always good off the line, as are the Peugeots. But from a few times this weekend from the outside, or certainly not right on the inside, you can carry good speed in around turn 1 and actually carry more speed in. So if Kristoffersen straight away comes across, tries to squeeze Timmy, not too much, but just doesn't give him too much room, Timmy then has to slow his speed up a little bit because the corner is then tighter. So if Kristoffersen gets a good start, he could well sit it around the outside and carry more speed, yeah.
But it's crucial that they don't run wide, because we've seen a lot of people run wide, and when you run wide, what happens?
Well, like Ekstrom had a big moment, and you know, he had to come from right on the outside, carried a lot of speed in, so it's a real fine line.
A lot of people have done it, haven't they? You know, it looks like they want to try and go flat, and they can't quite make it. Backward again. Basically, they've spotted there's a trend here that you watch the people around backward, they give it the old woo, air came on to start another Mexican wave, and then it goes around the whole stadium.
He's gone all shy now, he's spotted it on TV, he stopped doing it.
Right, let's get ready for this one then, shall we? Round 10 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship is about to be settled. Let's see who is in the final. Timmy Hansen on pole, he's going for the triple. Johan Kristoffersen alongside him is going for his 2nd win of the year. Robin Larsen would love to be on the podium again. He was in Norway. Could he get that elusive win? Solberg will be looking at win number 3 as well. Davy Genet and Tanner Faust on the back row. So I think Genet actually in 5th, not 6th. That's my mistake, but back row either way thinks he can get past 2 people. Timmy was pumping himself up in his car. We saw that just before we had a look at the lineup. Kristoffersen, on the other hand, just absolutely cool, calm and collected. Solberg with his Spain gloves on. He's had a different pair of gloves at every round. Genet, handbrake on. These guys are just absolutely coiled up and ready to go. The marshal gives the thumbs up. We are good to go. Hansen checks the cars in gear. Tricky start for people there, but it's Kristoffersen and Hansen. Solberg's going to try and come around the outside. Contact between Kristoffersen and Hansen. Hansen manages to stay off the inside. Who's gone for a spin? Last on the inside. Solberg doing to the lead.
Hansen and Kristoffersen. Kristoffersen did what I thought he was going to do, close Timmy down straight away. Those two then had a little bit of a niggle at each other, and then that's opened the door to Petter Solberg.
Oh, Solberg runs wide.
Very wet. Look how
wide.
slippy it is.
Oh.
Hansen into the tyres.
So it's got such a completely different condition. We haven't seen the supercars out on the wet, unsealed surface here. Larsen's off in the background. So Larsen is going to retire from this. Monster Energy Supercharger award for Timmy Hansen, but back onto the gravel, and let's see how slippery this section is. Solberg getting away with it there, but it's after the jump, I think, where they've really watered it. Is it going to affect the way they turn in? You can see the road shire, still dust there. I think it's mainly that section down the hill, Andrew.
We've seen Timmy Hansen and Kristoffersen speed. Now they really need to do it. Kristoffersen to the Joker laps. He's gone into clear space. Now Solberg's got a bit of a gap. Timmy needs to put that speed into practice right now and close that gap, because if not, Petter's going to come back from what we've all thought was a tough weekend and take a win.
Kristoffersen and Faust went to the Joker lap. Everybody else still to go. We know we're not going to see Larsen. Look at that. Look there at how Petter has immediately recognised the lower grip level, and he's gone so tidy through there.
You can see on the way in his front wheel was locking, then his rear as he just gets the handbrake to turn it. Genet's come up to 3rd, hasn't he? But Kristoffersen and Faust are Jokers, so Genet's a little bit out of position there.
Solberg leading. We know his tyres are in worse condition than Hansen, but so far doing a great job. Off the start, it looked like Hansen was going to get forced off track limits, and he would know that if that happened, he would get a 5-second penalty. So he had to have contact with Kristoffersen to stay within the track.
and that's cost them.
Absolutely, it's cost them both, and it's all opened up. Solberg's got some very good pace on him now. He's just dropped Hansen by a second on that lap. Is it that with the wet tarmac, the times were a lot slower than they were in the semi-final, the lap times? Is it with the wet gravel section, it's suiting Petter Solberg's softer car? We know how soft he runs it. We know the Petter Solberg style. Is this wetter gravel suiting his car better than the Peugeot?
So it may have come to him, the traction may have come to him. Hansen, Genet following. Larson, if you're wondering, if you missed it, is stopped at the hairpin at the bottom of the gravel hill. Solberg, what do you think he'll do? Wait till the last lap for the Joker? That's kind of favoured tactics for him if he's leading.
Yeah, well, at the minute, he's pulling away, so he's absolutely got to. Christopherson's going quickly behind him, though. It's, you know, it's a 6-second gap, so that's going to be too much. So they'll just keep running Petter, keep running him. Genet jumps out, goes to clear air there.
So Genet into the Joker. He's going to come out behind Christopherson, but he's going to get Faust. So comes out in front of Faust. There's Faust. So Faust is down in 5th at the minute. And,
I think it's going to be close with Hansen and Christopherson. You know, there's about 4 seconds. We saw, you know, about 3.6 is the best so far this weekend. Roughly around there, but Solberg has come alive, hasn't he? He's been struggling a little bit for pace. He's still been flamboyant and great to watch, but now he's going very quickly, and it's when it matters.
It does indeed matter now. Round 10 is on the line. He is the championship leader. He's got an enormous lead, but he said he was desperate to win. He said if the chance to win comes, I will take it. That he only needed to score a certain number of points, and I think this will be another nail into the championship for him. Round that left-hander, 2 laps to go. Hansen still in second place, but Hansen is not gaining. He's not gaining. Hansen, I think you're right, is falling back into Christopherson's clutches.
Yeah, you can see Kenneth Hansen now again doing his split times. He's always doing split times. They'll be comparing to Christopherson now because Christopherson's the danger man, and that's going to take more points out of Timmy Hansen. So Solberg, though, absolutely come alive, keeping it neat and tidy, isn't he? He's not overdriving it, keeping it driving forward. And you know, this is going to be the spotter will be on the radio to him, telling him he's pulling away. Yes, okay. On the last lap, though, him and Hansen were exactly to the same 10th, but that's good. You know, on board here with this.
Genet,
isn't it? You can see, look, you can see on the screen, that's not just dust, that's where the water's been coming onto the screen as well. So that's had a big effect in this race, I think.
Solberg, he goes into the joke lap. So Solberg into the joke lap, with a lap to go. Timmy goes in with him. Christopherson coming round. This is about the merge. I think Solberg's going to get the win here. It's another lap to go. Christopherson, Hansen, though, is going to carry pace off turn 1. Can he get him on the way down to turn 2? Solberg, he's at the end of the straight, but did Hansen have enough pace to have a look? I think Hansen is still behind Christopherson. I think he's still behind Christopherson. We can see him. It is Christopherson holds on to second, but runs a little bit wide. It's the battle for second place. So Christopherson and Hansen on the last lap. Hansen late on the brakes. We're on board with Timmy now. I don't know if there's anywhere he can pass him.
No, I think now, you know, unless Christopherson makes a mistake, it's going to be nowhere for Timmy. But Petter Solberg, fair play, because that isn't just because he looked into the turn 1 instant with these two guys, with Christopherson and Hansen. He's done it on pace. Absolutely brilliant. Never count him out.
Petter Solberg, the world champion, the world championship leader, takes his 3rd win of the year in front of the Barcelona crowd. Second place goes to Christopherson. Hansen is 3rd, and then Genet and Faust over the line. And look what it means to the team. They've waited a long time, not been on the top step of the podium since the UK round 4, way back at the start of the year. And the flamboyant Norwegian takes another win. Great drive.
Mate, I'm very impressed with that. We all love watching Petter when he's sideways and absolutely on it, but he's come from behind a little bit this weekend. I wouldn't say people were writing him off, but on pace, he hasn't quite matched it. Absolutely brilliant, and don't ever count him out. I think that's the message from Petter to the competitors.
Great job, holds those Spanish gloves aloft. They'll be worth a few quid now with a win here. Neil Cole's in the spotter's tower. He's with Petter's team.
Ole, we can see how much that means to you and Petter.
Yeah, I tell you what, you know, we had a few races we are struggling in Canada and Norway. We made a progression. Last race we came 2nd, which was a good result. But that win we've been fighting for, and this is a team effort. Petter also very well driven, but the team, unbelievable. It's the best team, no worry, you know. There's no other team that can beat us like that.
Well done, thank you.
Thank you.
Solberg climbing back into the car. He looks very, very pleased indeed. Hang on, into gear, and now we're going to drive around the track, hanging out the side of the car. We've heard of Timmy Hansen style, Petter Solberg style. That's definitely Petter Solberg style. Solberg with the win and 8 championship points. That's going to increase that gap over Timmy Hansen. Christopherson 2nd, Timmy Hansen 3rd, then Genet, Faust, and Larson, unfortunately, with a DNF. There's Petr. I think it's a big relief, Andrew. I mean, he had a couple of rubbish events, he really did. So, you know, Sweden was his first time off the podium. Canada was his first time not in the final. He didn't make the final again in Norway.
I think really, you know, at the start of the year, it was probably a bit expected Solberg was going to win because he was absolutely on top of it. He'd come off a great year. The car was where he needed it to be. But you can see how much that means to him and the team because he's had to work for that. He's had his back up against the wall for the last couple of events, and now another dent in the roof. Petr Solberg style. But now he's done that on pace. That was a brilliant drive. So let's have a look now. The replay. Kristoffersson here, the two cars on the inside. Look, they start getting into each other, lock wheels a little bit. Solberg, he has a tap with Larson, which sends Larson off. But Solberg's got the run up the inside. And you can see, look how slick it is. You can see the water track, that's lost a lot of grip there.
They all misjudged it. In fact, it looked like Faust had come off worse, but I think the contact there between him and Larson was the end of Larson's race. But Solberg, with tyres which we know weren't in as good condition, but once he was out front, he just managed to keep it there. Was Hansen maybe trying too hard in second place? Would he have preferred to have been in front?
No, I think looking at the time, the track was about a second slower than it was in the semi-final. That's probably down to the water on the gravel sections. And then with Solberg, how he normally runs the car a bit softer, would then suit the wetter gravel. But you can see how much that means to him. He's really had to work for that.
There he is with the team. They're all chuffed to bits. I was with Petr doing one of our TV interviews earlier on this weekend, and I have to say he seemed a bit stressed, but I think that'll be a big relief. The world champion is back on the top step of the podium. Bit of a weight off his shoulders, I think. I mean, I'd say he's got a huge lead anyway, but it's always nice to win, isn't it? Get the momentum back on your side.
Absolutely, and I think that one was a bit unexpected. I really do. With all their reaction, I think they didn't expect that. But it wasn't just that he was there when the others went off at turn one. He did it on pace and pulled away.
Kristoffersson and Hansen both had each other down, didn't they, as the people to watch. Oh, I've got to watch out for Timmy, I've got to watch out for Kristoffersson. And it was really them, that contact, you say, we're going to be able to have another back at some of the action. You'll be able to see this contact between them. Timmy got a penalty, didn't he, for getting fired off inside turn one. Watch Timmy and Kristoffersson here. It's almost like Timmy's saying, I've got to stay on the track. He's out.
So Kristoffersson straight away goes across. Timmy comes back across to stand his ground. They just lock up a little bit there on board with Solberg. He then gets the drive through, perfectly done. He just opened up.
I don't think Timmy even knew he was there.
Because there was a little bit of a clout on the right front, but then he kept it neat and tidy. If we stay on board, we're going to see, look, onto the gravel the first time. Pulls the handbrake here, but look, you can see how much darker it is. That's a much wetter gravel section than it was in the semi-final.
Down the hill, really only that one bit of the track there where the grip seemed to have changed significantly. Job done. Great to see some of your tweets at the bottom of the screen. You can interact with social media WorldRX using the hashtag WorldRX. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc. Timmy looking disappointed. I don't think he needs to be with the form they've got. You know, they know the pace is there, and this isn't like when they've walked at a heat halfway through and gone, oh, it's not fair because some of the races were this, some of the races were that. You know, the conditions were the same for everyone.
Yeah, that said, he wants to win though, doesn't he?
Of course.
You know, he's been the quickest all weekend. Apart from in the qualifying heats, he's been the quickest. So he wants to win. He's not going to be happy with the third when they've shown so much potential so far this weekend.
We can see the final lap of the final. This was the merge. Hansen coming out behind Kristoffersson. Genet managed to get up into fourth from fifth. Faust at the back. Faust didn't really seem to have the pace to trouble the front runners. Solberg there, again, that accuracy you talk about. Just the one wheel hanging over the inside of the curb.
And nice and neat and tidy. He's obviously readjusted his driving style. He knows it's a bit slippier than it was on here. But he doesn't look like he's trying too hard. Just nice, neat and tidy. He knows he's got the pace. They'll have been informing him the whole way around that he was opening the gap. And I think they're a bit surprised they've won that, but fantastic to see. Really impressive race from him to come through and win when it looked like it was going against them a little bit all weekend.
Over the judge, just a couple of corners to go. He'll have given the tyres just a slightly wider berth than before. Around that last quarter, checker flag. Win number 3 for Petr. Him, Timmy and Davi were both on 2, and he's the first one to take the triple.
Petr, I've seen you get a lot of wins in your career, but something made this one extra special. Why does it mean so much to you?
We're fighting for the World Championship. Very hard. It's... we have been close many times now, but we know Bersh have done a big job with the car. I worked through the whole weekend with details and tried to do things. I think now we have actually got even better. It's just testing. We don't have enough testing to do it, and now we have to put in one more gear. But I must say that my son won today also in Sweden, just before I went out, and I'm so happy for him also. So good family day.
Congratulations to Oliver from all of us. That's very cool. But back to today, back on the top step of the podium. Before the event, you were talking about championship, playing it safe. That wasn't playing safe in the final. That was all guns blazing.
That was actually safe because on the first corner, when I was up on the side of both of the cars in front, I braked. I went behind him because I knew Hansen will push out Kristoffersen out. So I knew, okay, hopefully it's nobody else behind them, so I can go on the inside, and it worked. And after that, we pulled away. I got the split down, so I tried to be a little bit calm. Small mistake in the corner where they were watering, but I think many other people did a mistake in the water place also. And what a day, you know. A lot of sponsors, the mechanics have been flat out the whole weekend. I mean, completely crazy. And now they're happy, definitely, and I'm very, very happy.
Thanks. Congratulations.
Thanks, thank you. So we will give this gloves to somebody.
Flat out. Petter's always flat out. Mechanics are flat out as well this weekend. Norwegian flags flying high for a win for the world champion. Let's see what it does for the championship standings. Solberg then, Hansen and Kristoffersen with Genet, Backrud, Ekström, Nittisch and Heikkinen. I think this result may just put the championship out of reach of Timmy. It was anyway, but we've not managed to nibble a little bit away each time. Last in ninth, Timosyanov, Stoll, Faust, Mark, Linnerud and Doran. Neil Cole is with Johan Kristoffersen, who managed to grab a second place here in Spain.
Johan, second place is amazing. It's very, very good, but you look a little disappointed.
Not disappointed, but I mean, of course, I went for the win after the really good semi-final. We have been improving the car during the whole weekend and find some speed during the whole weekend. And I think I was one of the quickest on the dry, and then I put some water on and made it a little bit tricky. But I was tough in the first corner, and then from there I just took the joker on the first lap and was pushing every lap, and then finished P2. So no drama, but of course, congratulations to Petter. But I would like to have the win.
There's a feeling, though, that win will come very soon. If not this weekend, next time.
I mean, as long as you have the speed, you're always there to fight for the win. But, I mean, there's some other guys also have a good speed. So, but we will see. I mean, I will try to keep fighting in the last 2-3 races.
Well done. Thanks.
Thank you.
Well, interestingly, looking at that, we actually think the driver's title is 2 points closer because of Hansen qualifying so far ahead of Solberg. Solberg qualifying down in 6th. Either way, this is how the teams stand. Team Peugeot Hansen leading from Ford MSC, SDRX, VW Markland, VW Team Sweden and EKS. Neil Coles is now with our third place man, Timmy Hansen.
Timmy, so fast all weekend, it looked like another win was potentially on the cards. What happened in the final?
I lost the start to Petter somehow. I mean, it was close between me and Johan. I don't know what happened to Petter on the row behind, but he came up the inside and passed me down towards turn 2. And after that, they had watered the track a little, so I was so close to crash into one of the tire barriers already on lap 1. That gave Petter a little gap, and when I tried to chase him down, I did a few mistakes in lap 2, 3, because I tried too hard, and then really the last 4, 5, 6 lap was so good, but you know, we had already lost too much, so I tried everything I could to reach Petter because I knew, you know, that's where I needed to be in the win, but close.
Congratulations on third anyway. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, a great first weekend for the FIA World Rallycross Championship in Spain. Not been here for 25 years, an enormous crowd, a fantastic track and some brilliant racing. Andrew Jordan, hope you've enjoyed being back with us in the commentary box this weekend. Great to have you here again.
Absolutely, it's been some fantastic racing, but for me to watch Petter Solberg come from behind, I've really enjoyed watching that. We all thought it was going to be Timmy that took the win. He said himself in the interview when they'd watered the circuit, that just threw them off a little bit, and Johan Kristoffersen said the same, but Petter adapted very well, and to come through and take a win when we thought he was a bit behind. was good to see.
Timmy Hansen's run of form finishes there. Of course, he's been overnight TQ and then TQ for loads of events in a row. Doesn't take the win here. I don't think that'll stop the momentum. So say he's actually closed the gap by 2 points to Petter in the championship, but Petter saving it there. That win, of course, gives him 8 points to Kristoffersen's 5 and Timmy's 4. So really, he saved the weekend when he qualified 6th. To get those extra 3 points for the win here just means that Timmy doesn't take a full big chunk of points out of it.
Petter keeps just scoring, doesn't he? And the intermediate classification is always there or thereabouts. Even after a couple of bad heats, he's just picking up the points, and then he comes through in the final and takes a win, which just it just shows why he's the current world champion.
He is indeed the current world champion. He's the world championship leader. Is he going to be a 2 times world rallycross champion at the end of the season? We only have 3 events to go. My thanks to Andrew Jordan for joining us this weekend. Turkey, Italy and Argentina will see us through to the end of the season. Petter Solberg will be hoping that he can win all of those, or at least be ahead of Timmy Hansen and try to keep that championship lead. Hansen did his best, but the Norwegian maestro was on top form in the final. It's a win for Petter Solberg. We can see if he can do it again in a fortnight's time when we will be in Istanbul in Turkey. We'll see you then.